Fox Sports.
We are
Spring Training 2016, and it rolls on from Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, Florida, where it's an absolutely gorgeous day for baseball. It's the Miami Marlins and the St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome to baseball, everyone. My name is Dan McLaughlin of Fox Sports Midwest. In just a moment, you'll hear from my partner, Preston Wilson of Fox Sports Florida. For the St. Louis Cardinals, they are winless in their last 8 games. They had an off day yesterday. Their manager, Mike Matheny, saying, we're going to start gearing things up as if this is the regular season. Try to pick up a win today and from here on out. In the lineup today for the St. Louis Cardinals, it'll be Randal Grichuk. And fans across the United States are hearing the name of Randal Grichuk. He's one of the top young players in the game today. Power, speed, very good defense, and he's in the lineup this afternoon. Preston Wilson, let's bring you in the conversation. You have the beat of this team with the Miami Marlins. You know what it's like to be in that clubhouse. New manager, big names. How is spring training going for them?
Well, so far, Don Mattingly's presence has been felt around this clubhouse. You notice guys gravitate to him. Every time he says something, every head in the room looks up. And he's brought in a policy of no facial hair, and I like it because it makes everybody on the same page. Once you get past the skipper, though, the team has to perform on the field. You got to talk about Jose Fernandez, who looks every bit of what he was in his rookie campaign. 5 innings of no-hit baseball yesterday versus the Red Sox. And on offense, Giancarlo Stanton. He's the big guy. He's the guy that makes this team go. So when you get on that, the Marlins have a chance, if they stay healthy, to do what they need to do in the NL East.
It's a good matchup here today. Tom Kohler, he'll be in the rotation for Miami this season. Carlos Martinez for the St. Louis Cardinals. Miami, St. Louis. First pitch coming up. McLaughlin. It is 77 degrees here at Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, Florida. This complex is shared by both these organizations, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Miami Marlins. Preston Wilson has a tie-in with both of these teams as we flash back. The Cardinals are celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the 2006 World Champions. Preston Wilson picked up in August. Wainwright the strikeout of Brandon Inge. And it was time to celebrate. And it was 20 years ago to the day that Preston Wilson was celebrating with Mookie Wilson of the New York Mets in 1986.
What a surreal experience to be able to be on the field, win a World Series, and then to find out that it's exactly 20 years to the day from when I watched my dad win a World Series. It's something that I will always hold close to me.
How about Miami now? You're working as an analyst for the Marlins. You've got one of the big stories in this spring. That's Jose Fernandez. Yesterday, 5 hitless innings. He does not get the opening day start, but boy, you get him back healthy, could change the complete outlook of the season.
Well, he's a guy that this team gets up when they see him. They respond well to his energy. He's always ready to go. And then you couple that with the talent, the electric stuff that he has, and he means a lot to this ball club.
There's a look at Don Mattingly, Donnie Baseball, the new manager for the Marlins. This is his lineup today with Ichiro Suzuki, the ageless wonder, at 42, leading it off. Then Marcell Ozuna, Derek Dietrich, Giancarlo Stanton, Martin Prado, JT Realmuto, Adeiny Echeverria, Miguel Rojas, and the pitcher batting ninth, that's Tom Kohler. That starting 9 will face Carlos Martinez, making his 3rd start of the spring. Last time out was on the 17th at Lakeland against the Tigers. He took a loss but struck out 5 of the 8 outs that he recorded in that start. He has electric stuff.
Carlos Martinez has always been one of those guys that you knew he was going to come into his own at some point. With the fastball that he throws in the mid-90s, that great breaking ball, and he's learning that changeup has gotten even better. He's a guy that you look at, and he's kind of like a Pedro Martinez type, maybe, you know, in that mold of a guy who can get you a lot of ways.
Behind him defensively for the St. Louis Cardinals, a lot of regulars are in there. Brandon Moss is in left field. Randall Grichuk in center. He has opened up a lot of eyes. He's in right field. That's Jeremy Hazelbaker. Matt Carpenter, the all-star third baseman. Ruben Tejada just acquired. He's at short. Colt Wong at second. Matt Holliday is at first. And Yadier Molina is behind the plate. In the dugout for the St. Louis Cardinals, he's averaged 94 wins the first 4 seasons as the skipper of the St. Louis Cardinals, and that is Mike Matheny. So away we go. This is the 5th of 7 meetings between the Marlins and the Cardinals here at spring training. You get a chance to watch him play every day, whether it's just here in spring training, regular season, working with the outfielders. Ichiro Suzuki, just an incredible story, isn't it?
He's one of those guys that when you look at him and you watch him work, you understand the success that he's had is no accident.
He's hitting 179 this spring.
And nobody works out more. Nobody is more prepared. Nobody takes care of their body better than this guy right here.
Ichiro is swinging a miss. Could be a historic season for him. 65 hits shy of 3,000. Despite not making his big league debut until the age of 27. And a ground ball pulled off the bag. That's a fair ball inside that right field line. Sliding for it is Colt Wong, and Ichiro is held to a single.
Yeah, poor Matt Holliday just had to watch that one go by and just wait for Colton to go back there and pick that up. You're in a no-win situation when the ball's hit slow like that. You can't get in front of the bag, and just so happen it hits the bag and ends up down the line.
You look at the everyday lineup, and in particular the trio in the outfield for the Miami Marlins. It could be very, very good. And it looks like a late switch in the lineup as Marcell Ozuna was scheduled to bat second. This is JT Realmuto. I mean a late change as in maybe 2 minutes ago.
Well, the Marlins really like Realmuto. He's a catcher that's learning to be more of the team leader back there behind the plate, but he also does a lot of good things with the bat. He can hit the ball the other way. He's a guy that you can hit and run with. He's a guy that's learning, and I think has a chance to be a good, solid player.
Bust onto the scene last year on opening day. No rookies were on the Marlins roster. By season's end, 14 wound up in the bigs, and this is one of them. Very good athlete, was a tremendous high school athlete, and now learning to play catcher at the big league level. Here's a 1-1 pitch and a check on Ichiro, the runner at first. That's chopped off the plate and foul.
One of the things they like about him is his leadership skills. Being a high school quarterback, led his team to the state championship. They like his makeup, his ability to talk to pitchers, even as such a young guy, and to get their respect. And you got to remember, with him, he's the reason why Saltalamacchia was let go. They felt so confident in his ability to handle this pitching staff that they felt they didn't need that veteran presence.
Started last year at AAA New Orleans. Puts the ball in play, and then it'll roll foul. Remember, Jeff Mathis broke his hand. Saltalamacchia released, and then all of a sudden, Real Muto had a chance to play every day. When he took over, he had just 11 games of big league experience. So to further your point, a lot is being put on his shoulders going into 2016. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're just underway here from Roger Dean Stadium. Swing and a miss and a strikeout. There's that nasty slider that you talked about.
It's a bad spot to be in when you got 2 strikes with a guy who's got that type of slider, because he can start it out as a strike visually and make it end up as a ball, and you got no chance because you think it's going to be too close. And right there, that's just a great spot and a great pitch.
Derek Dietrich hitting 125 this spring, no home runs. And he has driven in 3. Last year, 10 home runs in limited time. He's got some pop off that bench for Don Mattingly.
Well, he's one of the few guys that the Marlins have in reserve that can come in and give you a home run or some extra base hits off the bench. And he's just got to do a little bit more of the other things. He's got to hit the ball the other way more. He's got to take a single here and there. But the power is definitely there.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Ichiro, your runner at first base. That's it out of play. Big crowd. A beautiful day for baseball. And what has been over the years, I would have to say, Preston, you know it better than I, but a very tough offensive ballpark at this time of the year.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy hitting in spring training so much in this ballpark. And I learned later on that a lot of guys that knew about it would actually play more road games here when they played for the Cardinals. I kind of caught that news a little late, though.
A little late. Dietrich a little late with that swing, 1-2. Yeah, the Cardinals' offensive numbers have been down this spring. Barry Bonds was talking before the game, the hitting coach of the Marlins, that he really feels that this is one of the toughest parks to hit in from his perspective for spring training because of the wind and the weather.
There are a couple factors, the wind and the weather for sure. You have that high blue sky out there, but also the backdrop isn't totally black. It's somewhat, you can somewhat see through it as a hitter, and that throws off your depth perception.
Breaking ball doesn't get the call. Martinez thought he had strike 3. There's Barry Bonds.
So as a hitter, you're looking out there and you see how you can see through that. You got that white roof on top of the batting cage behind the batter's eye. All of those things affect you as a hitter, and especially when you got guys throwing major league caliber stuff. It affects your reaction time. It affects your ability to pick up spin and velocity.
2 balls and 2 strikes as Dietrich steps out of the box. Juan Nieves is the new pitching coach with the Marlins. Barry Bonds, the hitting coach. Don Mattingly, the manager for Miami. There's strikeout number 2 for Carlos Martinez.
And he is absolutely bringing it right now. That's a tough spot for a lefty. That ball up and away. Righties, he threw the slider to Real Muto, and now he worked a lefty with 2 strikes up and away. And a lot of lefties have a hole in that area, and that's a great attack for 2 strikes by Carlos Martinez right there.
That was 99 on the gun. Here's Giancarlo Stanton. All kinds of room to the right side. Cardinals using a shift here. Colton Long, the Cardinals' second baseman, is basically behind the bag at second. Carpenter is on the line. And the first pitch was hit out of play by Stanton, who wound up with 27 home runs, 67 RBIs, but only 74 games, recovering from the left hamate bone break in late June. At the time of the injury, led the majors in home runs and RBIs. Here's the 0-1. If he can stay healthy, best power hitter in the game.
No question. He's got that rare power that you look at, and it makes his peers look at him in awe. That's the type of power he has.
Here's the 0-2. Carlos Martinez strikes out the side for the Cardinals in the top of the first. Coming up, Matt Carpenter, a two-time. First rolls in. We welcome those watching on Fox Sports Midwest and Fox Sports Florida. Along with Preston Wilson, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Matt Carpenter will lead it off, followed by Colton Wong and Matt Holliday here in the bottom of the first. Then Randall Grichuk, Brandon Moss, Yadier Molina, Jeremy Hazelbaker, Ruben Tejada, and the pitcher batting ninth, that's Carlos Martinez. For the Marlins, it is Tom Kohler, the 29-year-old from the Bronx. Last year, 31 starts, 187 innings. Both tops the club in innings and starts as he went 11-14.
Well, he's their workhorse. He's their guy that eats up the innings. He's been steady for them, and he's got that bulldog mentality. He's that guy who's going to give you everything he's got, and he's going to fight you every pitch, and he's not one of those guys that looks to the dugout to wait for the manager to take him out of a game.
And the first pitch to Carpenter is taken low. Matt Carpenter coming off a 28 home run campaign a year ago, with the majority of that damage being done from the leadoff spot. And it's caught at second base by Miguel Rojas. Nice play. D. Gordon will be the everyday second baseman for the Marlins. And Rojas figures to be on the bench. And the Marlins defensively. Ichiro in left, Ozuna is in center, Stan in right. Prado, Echeverria, Rojas, and Dietrich along the infield. Realmuto is behind the plate. And that's around the horn. But swung on and missed by Colton Wong, who's batting .226 this spring.
Colton Wong has got unbelievable bat speed. He's one of those guys who may be pound for pound one of the strongest guys in the league.
It's an out of play. It's got pop. He's got a little speed too, and he just signed a 5-year extension with the Cardinals. He would have been eligible for arbitration in November, and it's a similar move that the Cardinals have made in years past to guys like Alan Craig and Matt Carpenter. So buying out the arbitration years to get financial security, and it's a 5-year $25 million deal. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the Cardinals second baseman Colton Wong. That's hit up the middle, off the bag. Echeverria couldn't get it out of the glove. He is so much fun to watch at shortstop. Adeiny Echeverria, one of the top defensive players in the game.
I watch him play, and it's unbelievable, not only the balls that he gets to, but the body control that he has when he's making these plays. He can make the most awkward play look routine because of the body control that he has. And he had a tough time getting it out of the glove there, but he has an unbelievable ability to keep his composure, to keep his balance, and then get off an accurate throw.
He's coming off some of the better numbers he's had as an offensive player. And there's a look at the fielding percentage that he had a year ago. Up the middle, D. Gordon, Echeverria, those two guys can cover some ground. Cardinals have been very aggressive this spring with 25 steals to lead all of Major League Baseball. They've been caught 7 times. Now, to be fair, majority of those stolen bases are with guys that are no longer here. They're at minor league camp, but they have tried to push it a little bit more this spring. Here's Matt Holliday. He's hitting .238.
Well, sometimes your young guys can energize your veteran guys into remembering, look, this is part of my game. I can help the team by doing this. You know, sometimes you fall into the lull of not doing it, but then when you see a young guy come up using that tool, you realize that's something you can implement as well to help your ball team out.
Here's a 1-0 and a high fly ball lifted into center. And that is Ichiro, who has moved to center field. So we had late word that OZUNA was at least not in the second spot in the lineup. And I just wonder if there's some type of injury that maybe they have discovered here, or if there's something that they're just saying, hey, we're just going to give him a day. And you were talking about a slide that he had an issue with yesterday.
Yeah, he had an awkward slide yesterday, and I don't know if that played into it, but if anything, it definitely could have. And when you're in this stage of the season and realizing what Marcell OZUNA can mean to this ball club, being another right-handed power bat, being your center fielder every day, you don't want to take any chances this close to the season.
So here is Randall Grichuk. Highlighted him in the open. Ooh, nearly picked off, and the throw was just a bit wide. If that's on the bag, he's out.
And he's a guy who's in his rookie year was 25 home runs, 80-plus RBIs, and that's the right place where he needs to be right there, between Lenny Harris and Barry Bonds.
Lenny Harris, the all-time very, very pleased with what they've seen. Here's a 2-1.
You know, getting back to Barry, I think he's got the ability to do it simply because he had it broken down to him in a different way from his dad, and he was able to understand what pitchers were trying to do as far as sequence, setting him up, and he became a hitter that would set pitchers up by learning that process.
There's a walk to Randall Grichuk, the Cardinals cleanup man, and it brings in Brandon Moss.
But there were a lot of hitters who, when Barry was playing in San Francisco, had some of their better years just from being around Barry. You know, it was a lot of fun to see guys go there and just get better simply from being around him.
Is he excited to be back in uniform?
Yes, he is. He's relishing this opportunity. He loves it. He's been waiting for an opportunity to get back and connect with the game.
Here's Brandon Moss, and he looks at a breaking ball for a strike. One of the big storylines in camp for the Cardinals, who would break camp and be their first baseman? Matt Adams, Brandon Moss, even Matt Holliday, who's at first base today. And the Cardinals have been very pleased with Holliday defensively. And look at him as an option there, especially if they're facing a tough lefty. Moss and Adams hit from the left side. And Moss gives the Cardinals some flexibility, too. He can play the outfield. That's his natural spot, either in left or right. Full year removed from hip surgery. Had a full off season of workouts and is back healthy. Cardinals banking on that.
Yeah, talk about the first base transition thing. A lot of people don't realize it's really more important that you throw well from first base than if you field well from first base. When you field the ball at first base, you're basically knocking it down and just jogging to the base or flipping it to the pitcher. But your hardest plays are your throws. Bunt plays, relays from the outfield. Those are the plays that first basemen have to be really efficient at to help their team.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. Especially, too, Preston, in the National League when you sacrifice as much as you do. A little different in the American League, but you're going to see bunts more so in the National League than in the American League.
You see a lot of first base when they get that ball. They're not going to charge and get that throw and throw it to third base when they're men on first and second in a bunt because they don't have confidence in that throw. You know, guys like Derek Lee had that confidence that they would make those type of plays. But as an opposing team, you know those first basemen who aren't going to make those throws.
3-2, the count on Moss. So the Cardinal runners off with this pitch. Richick, your runner at first base. Wong at second. There's good speed out there. Ichiro shading Moss a little bit into left center. Here's a 3-2. Fouled back. Cardinals are looking to find some type of offensive production, in particular with the power numbers, where they struggled a year ago, and some of that was a byproduct of injuries. Last year they were 12th in baseball in average, 25th though in home runs, 24th in RBIs. Runners off with another 3-2 pitch. We'll do it again.
I've always been a Matt Adams fan. I really thought that he's a guy who, if he can stay healthy and get 500 at bats, he's the type of guy that can really blossom into a 35, 40 home run guy because he's got that type of power. And with the way he hits the ball the other way, it really plays to his favor.
And right now he's just searching for at bats with Moss and also Holliday getting at bats at first base. He may go on the backfields and face AA and AAA pitching, start an inning just to get more looks. Took something off it, the changeup on the 3-2, and Moss strikes out against KOEHLER. So the Cardinals strand 2. We have played 1 from Roger Dean Stadium. There's no score. With Preston Wilson, I'm Dan McLaughlin. You are enjoying baseball on both Fox Sports Midwest and Fox Sports Florida. No scores. We move to the second inning. Carlos Martinez struck out the side in the first. This is Martin PRADO. Preston, they talk about Martin being one of the ultimate professionals, one of the great guys you can have in a clubhouse.
He's well respected. And he's a guy who you want in your locker room.
It's popped up into shallow right. HAZELBAKER near the line and makes the catch.
You know, something he does a lot of things to pull guys in. You know, he brings guys out for extra work on infield, but he also does something interesting I want to watch throughout the game. Every last out, he ends up having the ball before the Marlins leave the field. It's really interesting to watch.
I noticed that the other day. I thought initially that the catcher forgot how many outs there were and was throwing it around the horn.
No, it's a thing that he has that's kind of brought the team together. They all have to throw him the last out. It should come from right field. I've seen the ball come from right field, and they throw it into him, and then they leave the field.
That's unique. Here's Chris Johnson, so he's the late insertion into the lineup for Don Mattingly. Johnson's been around for a long time. Where does he fit in the plans right now for Miami?
Yeah, I think they're hoping that he can be that other right-handed bat off the bench. You know, they had Jeff Baker here a few years ago, a guy who hit lefties really well, give you a spot start, infield or outfield maybe. And they're hoping that he's that guy that's going to give that veteran presence on the bench.
Ground ball that's hit to short, taken there by Ruben TEJADA, and picked by Holliday at first. So Don Mattingly goes from being a player in New York, biggest stage with the Yankees, great player, 307 lifetime average. Then he goes out west to Los Angeles, huge payroll, and now he comes to Miami. Seems to be the right fit at the right time.
Well, I think he's really glad to be in a situation where the expectations aren't so crazy. It wasn't even make the playoffs. It was win the World Series in L.A. So I think you back him off that a little bit. It gives him a little bit more of a chance to get in tune with the team without having all this background noise. The team seems to be really relishing it and getting closer to him as well.
Adeiny Echeverria would have been the hitter in this spot. Instead now, because the lineup changed, they go with Miguel Rojas. So he is hitting in the 7th spot. And the Miami shortstop is on deck. You just love the heads up you get in spring training with all these changes, don't you?
Yeah, just hang with us, guys. It's spring training for us, too. We're working on it.
Man. I mean, I'm expecting that in like the 6th or 7th inning, not in the 1st inning.
I can't tell the difference between my lineup card and my brackets from the NCAA. It looks the same to me right now.
A lot of scratching out. Yeah, my brackets are done. Terrible. So Rojas here. Echeverria is on deck. And it's popped up. This is Holliday, and he puts it away. A 1-2-3 inning for Carlos Martinez. One of the game's best is coming up for St. Louis. Yadier Molina.
At Supercuts.
The right field line near the Cardinals bullpen. Bottom of the 2nd on Fox Sports Florida, Fox Sports Midwest. Preston Wilson, former Marlin and Cardinal, I'm Dan McLaughlin. This is Tom Kohler pitching to Yadier Molina, Jeremy Hazelbaker, and Ruben Tejada here in the bottom of the second. Man, it's hard to believe 10 years ago you were teammates with this man at the plate, Yadier Molina.
Yeah, he was just coming into the big leagues, coming into his own, doing a great job being a young catcher. And now, you know, he's a bona fide superstar. Let's be honest. He really is.
One of the great defensive catchers in the history of baseball. 8 Gold Gloves now. As Molina lines it off the glove of Echeverria and into left field. His second hit this spring, trying to come back from multiple surgeries on his hand and getting that strength back.
I saw him over the offseason, and that was one of the things we both laughed about because when he finally got the cast off and he looked down in his hand, he was like, "Doc, that's not my hand."
A little atrophy had set in?
Yeah, when you wear that cast for a while, you don't get to use those muscles or that forearm the way that you're used to. You don't realize how much is not happening underneath that cast, and it was a lot smaller, so it was a little bit of a shock when they took that cast off.
Here's Jeremy Hazelbaker. This time last year, he was property of the LA Dodgers, then was released. He was in the minor leagues with them, retooled his swing, and has had a very good spring. He can run. He's got a little power, a couple of home runs. He's driven in 7. There are 19 position players remaining in camp for 13 spots. Well, it must be tough, Preston, when you're a 28-year-old career minor leaguer and just trying to make an impression, the kind of numbers or different things you have to do just to get somebody's attention.
There's a whole different perspective for a guy like that than there is a guy who's been in the big leagues for the last 4 or 5 years. You know, this guy is trying to make somebody notice him. You know, and for those veteran guys who've been in the big leagues, their stats sometimes don't matter. It's more about them being healthy, them being ready to go on opening day. Well, this guy is wearing number 91, and he's trying to get to opening day. So everything that he does, the way he runs the bases, the way he takes pitches, the way he gets signs, all of those things are going to matter to a manager in that trust factor. Can I have him on my team and trust him to get the sign? Will he know to throw to the right base? He's got to make an impression in every single area.
He's a former 4th-round pick out of Ball State. Cardinals picked him up. He went to Springfield, which is their AA affiliate, and then jumped to AAA and hit close to 350 and did so with power. They said everything last year, by the end of the season, he was hitting with authority, looked like a different player. Talking with him the other day, he retooled his swing. A little check swing, and watch out. And you do not want to hit that guy.
Wow.
He's pretty important.
That will send you in the dugout right there. That Jose Fernandez just had a foul ball scream right next to his face. And I think he's going to go for a little bit more protection right now. Yeah.
That's the franchise down there.
That's it starts and stops with the pitching with him. That's not a good sign.
1-2 pitch, hit out of play.
You know, you see a guy like Hazelbaker, sometimes that jump from AA to AAA helps the hitter, because there are a lot of guys that throw hard in AA. There's some guys that throw hard in AAA, but AAA guys are more pitchers. They might be a velocity away from being a big league pitcher. They might be one breaking ball or change up away from being a big league pitcher, but those guys are around the plate more.
Here's a 1-2. So maybe a matter of control is what you're saying.
I think maybe his selection is what played into it. You know, the success he started having later on. Guys are a little bit more wild in AA or high A. So even if you can hit, if you're not getting good pitches, it's not going to show up. When you make that jump and guys are around the plate more, now you can show what you can do. And now he's got to carry that on to the big leagues.
So you think about this late in spring, and veterans are just trying to stay healthy, get their work in, but these at-bats for a guy wearing number 91 this late in spring are pretty important.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those things you look at and you realize, you can see it in their face, that grind is there, that hunger for every single pitch, every plate appearance.
Marlins could not turn two. Hazelbaker runs well, but they even made that close. I'll tell you what, the middle infield of Miami is going to be so much fun to watch again this year with D. Gordon, who's not in the lineup today, but Echeverria is.
They are really fun up the middle. They're athletic, they're quick. But Hazelbaker, that play right there, not getting doubled up on the ground ball, that means something. You know, if Matt Holliday hits that ground ball and they double him up on it, it means nothing whatsoever. But Hazelbaker has to show something every time.
Now Ruben Tejada, the former Met. He's only 26, released last week by New York. The Cardinals signed him to a $1.5 million deal. And he took the final opening on the 40-man roster, as the Cardinals will be without Johnny Peralta, their shortstop, for at least 3 months, who has had a similar type surgery that Yadier Molina went through this last offseason.
This is an opportunity that Ruben Tejada has to take a hold of. He was one of the favorites in New York early on, and they got another guy there, and he kind of got pushed out to the side, didn't really play as much. And now he's got another chance. So I think this is one of those times where, as if you're a guy like Ruben Tejada, you go, hey, I need to make the most out of this. So whatever things were my shortcomings, I'm going to make sure I sharpen those things up and get right.
He's going to have a chance to play every day. He's versatile. He's played shortstop, second base, even third base. Primarily, though, at short, nearly 400 big league starts.
Yeah, Wilmer Flores came in, and because Wilmer Flores had a little bit more power in New York, he kind of got pushed out a little bit. But Ruben Tejada is a great defensive shortstop when he's good.
HAZELBAKER is running. That's slapped the other way, and a fair ball down into the corner. HAZELBAKER will score. Tejada on his way to second base. And with that, it's 1-0 St. Louis.
Great hit and run right there, or running hit, whatever you want to call it. Tejada put the ball in play. But I want to go back to HAZELBAKER. Him beating out that ground ball, not letting him turn the double play, then being able to show that he can, get the sign, steal on the pitch, and make it all the way from first to home. Those are things that show up. Those are things that, okay, you may not have gotten a hit, but you found a way to do something to help this ball club. Watch him pick up the coach, does not look back. All of these are little things that coaches and managers look at that are going to help you. Good job right there by that young man.
Here's Carlos Martinez. Martinez hits it up the middle. Echeverria is there and slings it over to first for the out. Advancing on the play, Tejada to third. We're back to the top of the lineup and Matt Carpenter. From the Cardinals' perspective, Preston, it's really interesting when you look at Matt Carpenter and what type of hitter he is. There's been talk that Colton Wong could be the leadoff man. Carpenter has been there the last couple of years. But you say that because with runners in scoring position, the last 3 years, he's hit .331. That's in the top 5 of baseball. He hit 28 home runs last year. That's not typical of a leadoff man.
Sometimes as you mature, your role starts to change, and it may be a chance now where the Cardinals could eventually look at this lineup and go, we can push him down into an RBI run producing type spot and give someone else a shot at the top of the lineup.
When you talk to Matt, he says, I'm just so comfortable at this spot in the lineup. Did it matter for you? Because you were a guy that had speed and power.
Well, it didn't matter to me, but I always knew that my value was in driving in runs. I wasn't a 300 hitter, but for some reason I had a knack of understanding what was going on up there when run producing situations came up. I was able to have a few good years driving in a lot of runs, and it was because for some reason I had that knack of understanding, how a pitcher was going to try to pitch me with men in scoring position.
Carpenter has that same knack along with Holliday. Those two have been very good for the Cardinals in terms of what they can do with runners in scoring position. 2 balls, 1 strike. Carpenter, his first time up, lined out to second base.
I definitely see Carpenter, though, as a guy who can be a 3, 4, 5 type hitter on some ball clubs. He's got that type of power, and he's good enough to do it. You look at guys like Alfonso Soriano back in the day. He would hit 30, 40 home runs, but he couldn't hit with men in scoring position. And it was because his approach never changed. And Carpenter is not that type of guy. He's got the 20-plus home run power, but he's also got an understanding of this guy's not going to pitch me the same with that man on third base, with less than 2 outs, or a man on second with nobody out, as he's going to pitch me with bases empty.
The 2-2. So KOEHLER gave up the double to Tejada to make it 1-0. He'll be in the middle of the rotation this season for Miami.
He's earned it over the past couple of years. He's stayed healthy. He's been the guy that goes out there, gives you 5, 6, 7 innings. He's lost weight over the past couple of years. He's dedicated.
Had him out in front. Carpenter skies one into shallow center field. Who wants it? It's Ichiro. The center fielder takes charge and makes the play. Tejada with the double to score Hazelbaker. The Marlins pitching coach, Juan Nieves, when we come back.
At Fort
coming up Tuesday, April 5th against the Detroit Tigers at 7:10. Arrive early and enjoy all of the opening night festivities. Plus, the first 15,000 fans get a 2016 Marlins calendar. Secure the best seats available with a season ticket plan starting at just $6 per game. Go to marlins.com/tickets today.
Top of the third, it's 1-0 St. Louis leading the Miami Marlins. Juan Nieves is the pitching coach of Miami, and we appreciate your time, Coach. Let's start with just your general impression of your first season now with Miami and how spring training has gone for you.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's been a pleasure watching these kids. Great arms, good, very athletic kids. Just have to continue the process with them and being able to give them a plan of attack. They get to know me, I get to know them, and it's a little different when you're throwing sides and live BP, but I'll tell you one thing, it's building up on them and on me, and very talented group.
Ron, Preston Wilson here. What's impressed you about Tom Koehler that you've seen so far this spring?
His resiliency, being able to navigate through innings, and the toughness he has. Very, very well prepared. He has a great routine. And I think we just to give him a different game plan, knowing the league knows him. And it's funny when you show them how the league approaches him. It also gives him an edge, because that also gives him a plan, and he knows exactly how the league looks at him. So being able to navigate through that and understand how the league looks at him, it gives him a different approach.
Base hit for Echeverria. Here's Tom Koehler. How about Jose Fernandez and your approach in terms of innings coming up with him?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He's what a agile and incredible athlete. The key thing for him is longevity, being able to stay out there, and hopefully we can see him in September 29th on the mount and being healthy. That's the #1 priority. But how are we going to do that? Educate him through that, and understanding stressful pitches, and doesn't have to go to the tank every pitch, and being able to pitch a long time, not only this year, but hopefully the next 12, 15 years.
Well, I want to move back to the bullpen. Losing Carter Capps this year, who do you guys see that maybe be able to fill in that role? Will it be a Brian Morris, or who do you guys see filling in that role that Carter Capps had?
Well, we have different alternatives for that position. I think Dunn and BMO, Brian Morris are very equipped for that. And we're going to keep on looking at spring training and designating roles that way before spring training is over. But we have enough. It's tough to lose him. But I think overall, guys will step up, and we'll see who fits that role best.
Final question, Juan, and we appreciate your time. At what point when you're with a new team do you start saying, okay, I know these guys well enough to start saying, hey, here's what I'm seeing. This is what I want to see out of you, and implementing what you want out of those guys?
Well, I think it's coming to that point now. Of course, it's tough to see that on sidelines and live BP, but the more you see him in games, you can give him a little more of a game plan and you know, finding out their identity.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You bet. That's Juan Nieves, the pitching coach. Replaces Chuck Hernandez and comes to Miami after being the pitching coach with the Red Sox. And he spent 3 years in the big leagues with Milwaukee. Very nice to be able to visit with the coaches and the players in our telecast today as KOEHLER. I'm sure that was not a comfortable at bat. There was some up in his eyes, some behind him. It looked like they were going everywhere, and he strikes out.
It takes a certain amount of courage to be able to stand in there with a guy that throws 98, 99 miles an hour and has just kind of buzzed the tower a little bit, for you to stick your nose in there and really get after it. So when people see a sacrifice bunt, they just automatically, oh, it's just bunting. There's a lot more courage that goes into bunting than swinging the bat, because you have to put your eyes in your face right there to get close to that baseball when you're bunting.
The throw over to HOLLIDAY. One out. Man at first is Echeverria after his single to right. Well, they're worried about coaching down there, Preston, but there's Lenny Harris. Yeah, make sure. Yep, everything looks good. All right, you're set to go. Okay, good.
You always got to get a little help from your friends.
Here's the first pitch to Ichiro. Did not go. First time up. He singled off the bag at first base. This is where the Marlins really could be creative with a guy that handles the bat like this and the speed of Echeverria at first.
Echeverria does a lot of things, and one thing that kind of gets lost is his ability to run. He really moves really well. He's got good speed, and you can do a lot of hit and run type things, run and hit action, or maybe even they might start putting on their own little plays over there the more they get to know each other.
That pitch misses down and in. Mentioned earlier that Ichiro is 65 hits shy of 3,000. There are 29 players currently with 3,000 hits. After Ichiro, the next closest is Adrian Beltre, the third baseman of the Rangers, at just over 2,600.
It was unusual to look at the Marlins and see that Ichiro at one point was leading the team in games played. He may have actually led all the outfielders in games played last year. I think he played like 150 games or something like that.
153.
Wow. So he would come off the bench. He'd start games. When you look at Ichiro Suzuki and you say, well, how is he contributing? And you realize all the games he played, it's definitely possible for him to get those 65 hits.
And in his pro career, so if you combine it with what he did overseas, over 4,100 hits.
There's no doubt that if Ichiro had been in the major leagues at the age of 20, 21, he would have been the guy who had the chance to eclipse Pete Rose's batting title as far as the number of hits.
And then you start taking a look at postseason. If you start adding those into the equation, he's just been an amazing player.
It's so much fun watching him, though, because he's always working out. He's always prepared. Last year after the All-Star break, we get on the bus and we're talking to everybody. I go up and down. I say hi to everybody. I go, hey, Ichiro, what'd you do over the break? He looked at me like I was crazy. And he goes, I worked out. Like, what do you think I did?
That's what you do, huh? The 42-year-old is down on strikes. And Carlos Martinez now with 5 strikeouts.
That's a great spot for that pitch by Martinez. Fastball down and away, moving away with sinking action away from the left-handed hitter.
Realmuto struck out swinging back in the first when Martinez struck out the side. 1-0 Cardinals here in the top of the third from Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, Florida. Preston Wilson and Dan McLaughlin with you. Martinez, what a play. He could field his position. Athletic, pounced on it. And the Marlins strand a runner. They have left 2 on. We're midway through 3. It's 1-0 St. Louis. Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, Florida. Hope you're enjoying baseball on Fox Sports Florida, Fox Sports Midwest. Preston Wilson, Dan McLaughlin with you. And it's spring training 2016. It's great to be able to have Preston join us. The point of view of both Miami. He'll be working as an analyst, a game analyst for the Marlins, but also as we celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the 2006 championship team. And so many guys contributed in every little kind of way you think about, with injuries and the things that took place during that season. And Preston Wilson, with Jim Edmonds out with post-concussion syndrome, came in 33 games, 8 home runs. You drove in 17. That's a pretty good stretch.
You know, it was great to come there and feel so comfortable. Hal McRae really, welcomed me in and really made me feel like what I had was good enough for what they needed. He said, I want you to come in. I want you to be a slugger. I want you to drive the ball, drive in some runs, hit the ball out of the ballpark. We don't want you trying to hit 330. We want you going up there doing some damage. And that really freed up my mind and allowed me to just let it all out. And it worked out quite well.
It did. Here's Colton Wong, 1 ball, 1 strike. Wong, an infield hit back in the first inning, and then was left stranded. The 1-1.
And to the Cardinals' credit, that's something that their philosophy has always been, that they don't bring a guy over and then try to make that guy fit the team. They go out and get guys that already possess the talents that they want and bring them in and say, hey, be yourself. And that's why you see guys who come to the Cardinals have these great years, because they're not under these expectations that don't fit what they're already able to do. We were talking earlier about Ronnie Belliard, came over, did a great job. Their guys, when they picked up Weaver.
Jeff
Weaver, he did a tremendous job. Those guys come in and the expectations are just what you already have. So you're not under this undue pressure to be somebody else or some super version of yourself.
It all came together at the end. Finally, you guys got healthy. Edmonds got healthy. David Eckstein. 3-2 pitch. And a guy named Adam Wainwright emerged as a closer in 2006.
And part of what Wainwright's success was because Jason Isringhauser, who was the closer, helped out Wainwright. He told him, gave them all these tips about being a closer, about what to expect when you're in these situations. And it really paid off in that New York series when Wainwright got that final out and buckled Carlos Beltran. He said in his mind he had something that Isringhausen told him. He said, breathe. That's one of the things that's so simple people forget, is when you're on that mound in these tough situations, breathe. And he said it came to him and he was able to get that out, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. Here's Matt Holliday. 1-0 St. Louis. Holliday fly to shallow center. First time up.
Holliday's another guy who's kind of under my wing in Colorado.
A throw down to second base and a quick tag. As Wong was diving in head first on the attempted stolen base, and the tag there by Miguel Rojas. What did Holliday do for you?
Well, actually, I was the one who was getting him out there, getting him to take extra fly balls and focus on both parts of his game.
He's a third baseman at first.
Third baseman. When he came up to Colorado, he was a left fielder.
Right.
So I'm in center field, getting him to take ground balls, showing him how to go about his approach to get better out there. As a matter of fact, the bat that he uses was an old model of mine. He switched bats. He started using my model bat, which is a little bit bigger bat. And he's still using it, and he's been using it a lot better than I used mine.
I don't know about that. You had a season of 140-plus RBIs. That's not too shabby. Did you know that he was going to be the kind of hitter that he's turned into?
You know what? I knew he had the dedication to be that type of hitter, but you never know. You see guys that you think are going to be good, and some things happen, but he's a guy who was able to put it together. He learned himself, and he learned about how his approach could be consistent to best suit him. He stopped worrying about pulling the ball as much.
Yeah.
Right now, for the last 7-8 years of his career, he doesn't care about pulling. He'll pull the breaking ball, but he'll take that fastball almost to inside corner and hit it to left center. He's not worried about trying to get that bat head flipped over on it. He just gets his hands through, and he's got the strength to drive the ball out of the ballpark.
There's Randall Grichuk. There are some ties between the Cardinals and Marlins, as we see here with Preston Wilson. Also a great shortstop. Edgar Renteria, who has a chance to be part of the Cardinals Hall of Fame class. He is up for nomination this year. There's Edgar on the bottom left, who had the game-winning hit in the '97 World Series and had some tremendous seasons with the Cardinals. And part of that deal that brought Renteria to St. Louis was Braden Looper, going to the Marlins, and Looper then wound up back in St. Louis and is actually working as a scout. Here's a 1-1.
Edgar Renteria is just one of the nicest guys you could come across, man. And he had that genuine joy of loving to play baseball. You know, he was one of the first few guys to come from Colombia, right, to play in the major leagues. And I tell you what, and he was a great representative for his country, and just the way that he went about it. There's not many people that have anything negative to say about Edgar Renteria.
I loved it because you guys would want to go talk to him, and he'd say, I don't speak very well of my English, but we all knew he spoke it fluently. There was no issues. No problems.
Oh, man, what a great guy.
2-2 the count here on Randall Grichuk. Grichuk walked back in the first inning.
This guy's special. This guy, I watched him over the last couple of years, and his bat speed, the way the ball jumps off his bat, man, he's different. He's different. You know, there's some guys that you look at and they blend in with the team. This guy pops. When he's on the field, you see his talents, the way he runs, you know, his bat speed, the way the ball jumps off his bat. He's a different player.
Well, Stanton had 4 of the top 5 hardest hit balls last year, and Grichuk, along with Holliday, had the 2 hardest for St. Louis. But it furthers your point. The Cardinals noticed that when they made the deal to get Peter Borges and Randall Grichuk to St. Louis for David Freese, the hometown hero. There's a look at Stanton. Here's a 3-2 pitch, and he draws a walk.
And he's willing to make adjustments. He's willing to work, even with his batting stance. He's got the bat laid down now a little bit more. When he first came over to the Cardinals, the bat was more erect, standing up, and they wanted to make that adjustment to try to keep his bat in the zone a little more, and he's done it.
If he didn't get hurt last year and he missed significant time, Grichuk would have been in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. And I think overlooked Justin Bour, what he did for the Marlins at first base. He had a very good season.
Yeah, he didn't start the season as the starter. He got a late start being in that lineup every day. And he hit some tape measure shots. And not only were they distance, but he hit home runs at big times. He had a couple game winners. He had a couple late inning home runs that tied games or put the Marlins ahead. When you have guys that have power and it's not just those empty 8-1 home runs, that's when you take notice. And Justin Bour, he grabs your attention because of that.
This is Brandon Moss and hitting against the shift. This is kind of interesting where you have a guy in Randall Grichuk who does have speed
up the middle.
And we saw last year Colton Wong actually stole second base against the shift and then beat the shortstop to third base, and it wound up being 2 stolen bases on the play. There he goes. He's running, and it's tapped foul.
The main thing you have to watch for is who's taking the throw. Is the shortstop or second baseman taking this throw? Usually it's going to be the shortstop because you're playing the shift thinking that the ball is going to be pulled anyway. So most teams have your shortstop fielding. The problem comes in is if it's a bad throw or short hop and that guy goes, now the shortstop becomes a third baseman, and he's got to hustle over there to get that, and it creates some problems. You saw it last year in the playoffs with the Mets. We're on a walk. Daniel Murphy is there in the middle of the field, and guy goes to second base on the walk, and all of a sudden realize that nobody at third because everybody stopped playing because the middle infielder isn't used to thinking about, I got to cover third, and they got an extra base. That run ended up scoring.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and Moss lifts a fly ball out to center. There's Ichiro gliding to it. Makes the catch. A lot of tradition we're talking about in this inning. And a big part of that, from the St. Louis perspective, George Kissel, Cardinals Hall of Famer in 2015. Manager of the Miami Marlins, 14-year Major League career, and what a career it was. Donnie Baseball now at the helm of the Marlins. 307, the lifetime average. The 9 Gold Gloves, 6-time All-Star. You know, he almost became a Cardinal. Very close to becoming a Cardinal. He is from and still lives in the offseason in Evansville, Indiana, which is in the Midwest, obviously, in Cardinal country. And apparently he was feuding at one point with George Steinbrenner. Who would have thought? And at that time, he said, I want to trade. And he liked St. Louis because of the proximity to Evansville, Indiana, his home. And Whitey Herzog, who was also serving as the GM and manager, said, well, we have no chance to get him now. If he said he wants to go to St. Louis and George knows that, there's no way they'll trade him there. We have no chance to get him, and that was it. But there was a couple of deals that were on the table for him, and the Yankees wanted Joe McGrain, who was coming off a season in which he had an ERA just over 2, the big lefty, and it didn't happen. He wound up staying where he should have been, which was in pinstripes with the Yankees.
He was one of those guys that he was a leader on the field, and the ability that he had to play first base, to be the type of hitter that he was one of those early guys that everybody talked about. And this is before 24-hour sports coverage. He was one of those guys that was on everybody's lips. Don Mattingly. Everybody knew him.
He retired the year before they went on their great run. So he finished up 1995. They were in the postseason. Then 96, Joe Torre came in, and they won the World Series. That pitch by Martinez popped up by Dietrich on the infield. And Ruben Tejada puts it away for the out.
Martinez has done a good job of staying on the third base side of the plate to Dietrich. He's staying out of that power, using the fastballs and changeups on that third base side of the plate, and it's been really effective against Dietrich today.
And it brings in Stanton. They just need him healthy. Marlins hit 120 home runs last year, second to last in the major leagues. They were second fewest in runs scored, so if he's available and healthy, makes a big, big difference. Flies to right. Hazelbaker is there for out number 2.
Yeah, when you lose Stanton, you not only lose his presence, but you lose the effect that his presence has on the pitcher. How much energy you spend thinking about Giancarlo Stanton, how much focus you put into every pitch against number 27. And when you do that, it lessens the focus on other guys. So somebody's going to get a pitch that's hung in the middle of the plate. Somebody's going to get a fastball that's not located well because Giancarlo Stanton is in that lineup and they have to focus on him so much.
Here's Martin Prado. What can Barry Bonds do for Stanton?
It's scary to even think about it. To have him control that power, to have him focus it, you know,
pitch selection, maybe.
Yeah, pitch selection, understanding situations, having him understand sequences. You know, Barry Bonds was one of the most unbelievable hitters in the fact that he looked like he was in control of the pitcher. And it was you had to fight not to be a fan when you're playing defense and he's hitting, you know, because of course he might hit you in the face with a line drive because he just hit the ball that hard. But you're standing out there and you're looking at him and you're like, he never takes a bad swing. He's never off balance. It's almost like he knows what's coming.
Martinez has been sharp here today. Allowed 2 base hits. He has struck out 5, and the 1-2 pitch is lifted in the air on the infield. Colton Wong is there in a 1-2-3 inning for Carlos Martinez. The Cardinals have Molina, Hazelbaker, Tejada coming up. 1-0 midway through 4. along with Preston Wilson, I'm Dan McLaughlin. It's 1-0. Here's a look at Jaime Garcia. Worked on the backfields 2 days ago. In particular, trying to hold runners on and also pitching with that. Talking with Adam Wainwright. Saw Lance Lynn as well. He's missing this season, out with Tommy John. That's a big loss for the Cardinals. There's Lance on the left. And you think about it for Miami, they lose Carter Capps. Could have been a dominant right-hander coming out of their pen this season. He'll have Tommy John.
It's always nice to see your young pitchers around that veteran who's had success, and not just had success, but has done it the right way. And Adam Wainwright is that type of guy. But I remember Adam Wainwright being one of those periphery guys to Matt Carpenter. You know, so I mean, not Matt Carpenter, to Chris Carpenter. You see guys like that. It doesn't happen by accident. It's something that Major League Baseball players in general know. When there's somebody who does things the right way and has success with it, you want to be around it. You want to absorb some of it somehow. And they might say something that just clicks and helps you out. You know, but it's good to be around those guys.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and Molina single to left his first time up.
You know, you got but guarantee all these young catchers that are in camp with the Cardinals, they're around Yachty. Whether he says a word or not all day, they're going to be there hoping they can pick something up.
And they also have the manager to look to as well, 3-time Gold Glover and Mike Matheny. Mike is active. He's always throwing batting practice or working with the catchers. 3-2 on Yadier Molina. And Molina grounds to third. Backhanded there by Prado. And there's one away.
Matheny was a great catcher himself. I mean, he could frame the ball well, caught and threw well. He was a great catcher in his career.
So you're looking at Tom Kohler. He's pitching into the 4th right now. No activity in either bullpen as these starters start to get stretched out, ready for opening day. Your opinion, what does the starting 5 look like right now for Miami?
Oh, right now you're looking at Chen, Fernandez, Kohler, Cozart, and I think that 5th spot may be a Conley. I think they would like to have Conley to have that other lefty in there. I think they may look at a couple other guys here and there, but they sent Nicolino out, who was the other lefty that possibly could have been there.
Hazelbaker off the glove of Kohler to second, barehanded, and they got him. What a play. They'll go 1-4-3. Tremendous play by Miguel Rojas with the barehanded second base.
That's one thing the Marlins do well. They field the ball. Rojas was once described as having magical hands. And when you look at this play, watch how cleanly he picks this ball up barehanded after switching position and then gets off a throw. That's not easy to do when you go in one direction and then come back the other way and then put the throw on target.
Off balance throw, you can't get on top. As you mentioned, had to switch directions after it hit off the glove of Kohler. Here's Ruben Tejada with 2 outs. Cardinals have out hit the Marlins 4-2. They lead 1-0.
The key to Kohler getting deeper in these games is definitely his fastball command. You don't want him having to pitch with his secondary pitches, curveball and changeup. If he can get the fastball where he wants to get it, he's going to be so much more effective, because then he can use those other pitches as swing and miss pitches, not as pitches that he's trying to get in the strike zone.
Everything feeding off the fastball. Hear that all the time.
There's very few guys who can pitch with secondary pitches. There's just not many that can sit there and throw a strike with a slider or curveball anytime they want, throw a changeup strike anytime they want. There's not very many of those guys.
3-0 on Tejada. Carlos Martinez on deck. Kohler, 29-year-old, 18th round pick in 2008 out of Stony Brook University, which just recently became a Division I institution in athletics. The 3-1. Popped up. Windy day here at the ballpark. But the magical hands of Miguel Rojas put it away. So that one a little bit easier than this one. Man, that was a tremendous play with the bare hand.
With Fort Lauderdale Hollywood
full season plans starting at just $6 per game, half season plans, and 3 great 20-game mini plans. All season ticket plans include entry into the Fish Family Loyalty Program and guarantee access to the 2017 All-Star Game at Marlins Park. Go to marlins.com/season tickets.
Look at Giancarlo Stanton. Welcome back. It's 1-0. Cardinals leading the Marlins here in the top of the 5th. Preston Wilson, Dan McLaughlin with you. And Carlos Martinez back to work. He'll deal with Johnson, Rojas, and Echeverria. Miami last year, 71-91. The big reason why, though, they did not have Jose Fernandez for the better part of the season. He went 64 2/3 last year, 6-1, 2.92 ERA. And I was talking to those that saw him pitch against the Red Sox yesterday, and they said not only is he back, he looks better than ever. Maybe even the best they had seen him pitch in the last 3 years.
When he came back from the injury, one of the things that was missing was the command. He was able to throw strikes, but the command for the strikes weren't, sharp. It wasn't what he wanted. And now everything's down in the zone. He's starting to locate. And when you have a guy that can throw 98, 90 miles an hour, that can locate the baseball and then have good breaking stuff, it's a nightmare for a hitter.
And he is dominant at home. He doesn't lose.
No, that he does not do.
Literally, he has not lost a game at Marlins Park.
It's an unusual thing when you see it. He's even had a couple games where he may have been losing when he came out of the game, and an offense scores a run to tie the game up. But he is dominant in Miami.
3-2 the count. And Chris Johnson. One of the great young stars in the game today, Jose Fernandez. He'll be the Game 2 starter for Miami. Begin their regular season. And that's taken for a ball. Ooh, Martinez thought he had it. And it looked like Molina was ready to go around the horn. So at home, here's a look at Jose Fernandez's career at Marlins Park. 26 starts, 17-0 with a 1.40 ERA. Opponents 179 and nearly 200 strikeouts. That is just incredible.
He's one of those guys that when you can see it in him. He really loves pitching at home. And that big ballpark allows him to make a mistake every now and then. So when you put that with the talent that he has, that he doesn't give up very many hard hit balls, when you got that great outfield playing behind him in Yelich, Stanton, and Ozuna, those guys can go get it. They erase a lot of the mistakes, and then everything else he takes for himself.
For fans heading to Marlins Park this year, you get a look at Miguel Rojas. A little different look in terms of the dimensions this season.
Yes, they bought the ballpark in the outfield from center field on around to right field. The fences are going to be shorter. You don't have to take a cab ride to see where a home run lands anymore. You're going to have to. There's going to be a little bit more success for the power hitters in that part of the ballpark, and I think Giancarlo Stanton is going to benefit from it. Ozuna is going to benefit from it because a lot of his power is to right center. So it's going to be good change for the ball club.
Was the idea to do that because of Stanton? Generally trying to get more offense. I mean, we talked about it earlier. The Marlins offensively struggled in home runs last year, but it's a byproduct of Stanton not being healthy.
I think, this is just my opinion, I think part of it is also to get guys like Ozuna have their talents play out a little bit better, because when you have him, even though he hit 25 home runs his rookie year, you have him hit 8-9 balls at home that are out of every other ballpark. Well, you want to take advantage of that if that's your guy, and I think it's going to help that. And it's still not that much closer where it's a bandbox. You guys aren't just popping them up and they're leaving out of there. They still have to be legitimately hit. But it's going to help Stanton. It's going to help Justin Bour. It's going to help Marcell Ozuna. And when you look at 2017, the Marlins hosting the All-Star game, maybe a free agent that ends up wanting to come to Miami because now the situation is a little bit nicer to be a big-time hitter in that ballpark. They might be able to lure more guys in.
3-0 as Martinez is struggling to find the strike zone here in the top of the 5th. His pitch count at 59. And around this time, you're seeing 70 to 80 pitches for the starters, as the All-Star game is going to be held in Miami in 2017. That'll be a party.
Well, that's going to be, they're going to do a lot of good things down there. It's a great ballpark. If you haven't been to that ballpark, it really is a fan-friendly, family-friendly ballpark. There's great scenes there in the ballpark. They have like a bobblehead museum. Any type of food you want is there. Of course, the great Cuban food, highlighting that Miami tradition. There's a lot of good things in that ballpark. They did a good job with it.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. Now 3-2. We'll see if they want to start the runner. Always find it interesting when you have a guy like Martinez, who certainly has the ability to get a strikeout, and with Yadier Molina, how many teams are reluctant to run on this count because it could quickly turn into a double play.
Well, those are one of those combinations that as a manager you have to watch out for. You don't want to just run into a double play when you have a catcher that's that good back there and a pitcher that can induce a swing and miss.
Not running on the 3-2, and it's lined down the right field line, foul.
Johnson is an interesting guy because he's one of those guys, when his swing is right, he can take off and carry your team for a little while. So I think they may be trying to find lightning in the bottle, try to get him back to that form that he was, or somewhat close to that, and they could have an answer.
3-2 pitch, not running, and it could be two. Slowly hit out at second. The turn, wow, what a quick turn that was at second base by Colton Long. 6-4-3 on the double play.
When you watch big league ball players, you get a little bit spoiled. So I will tell you fans this. Stay watching us till the end of the game. Don't leave. But if there's another game on, say 6, 7 o'clock tonight, watch some college baseball. Watch some other guys play, maybe even high school if you got a local place to go out to. Watch some kids play and look at how much slower the game really is. And you'll get an appreciation for these major league ball players.
That turn by Wong was exceptional. Colton has had 4 errors this spring. Those come on the routine plays, but he will have some eye-popping, spectacular plays along the way. Here's a Danny Echeverria.
You know, that syndrome followed Danny Echeverria last year. Of the errors that he made, 3 of them I know for sure was just routine ground balls that he either didn't take the time to focus on, or it was just a throw that was an errant throw that sailed on him because he didn't complete his footwork correctly.
1 ball and 2 strikes. He singled to right his first time up. No activity for the Marlins in their pen. Matt Bowman is a Rule 5 pickup for the Cardinals, trying to stick with the club, and he's getting loose. Two and 2.
Hey, it might be Adams.
Martinez last year saw his season cut short with a shoulder issue, and the Cardinals are thankful he's back healthy. There's Tejada, gobbles it up, retires his counterpart, and nice work by Carlos Martinez here this afternoon. We are midway through 5. Marlins and Cardinals, it's 1-0 St. Louis. Introduce in. Tom Kohler finishing up his warm-up tosses. And Preston Wilson, what stood out for you when you watched Carlos Martinez today?
You know, the velocity was so sharp today, total 98, 99 miles an hour. And early on, that sharp slider that he threw to the righties and his ability to understand the lefties, what he did to DIETRICH. I think he did a great job. And then you see him fielding his position, the great athleticism, just showing off all the tools today. Think he knows it's getting close to the opening day?
He knows. He's ready. I was talking with him the other day, and he said, I'm just so excited because of the way my season ended last year with the shoulder issues. And, you know, when you deal with the shoulder, you know, Tommy John surgery, it seems like you hear about a case every single day. The elbow is one thing, the shoulder is another, and he's back to being 100% healthy, and that is an issue of the past. So he's excited and ready to go. And Greg Garcia will be the pinch hitter for Carlos Martinez, who gave up 2 hits here today and struck out 5, walked 1. Greg Garcia was the Cardinals' top pinch hitter a year ago, despite the fact that he was up and down with the club 3 different times. Had 13 pinch hits to lead St. Louis.
It's not an easy job.
No. You talked to Lenny Harris much about pinch hitting?
Oh, yeah.
Just the mindset of what a pinch hitter has to do?
Part of his job when he was the hitting guy is trying to keep these guys from overthinking it. You know, trying to make sure that they understood who they were facing, what those guys' strengths were compared to theirs. But also not to go in there and just beat yourself up mentally before you even have an at bat. He said he had guys that would go in the cage in 3 innings, they'd be in there in a row, taking swings. Well, they've taken 150 swings in the cage. And now mentally, they don't know what they're doing anymore because they've spent all this energy in their swing. So part of it is to kind of calm the mind, calm the process, and to kind of put it into a better focus of what they need to do for that one at bat.
Here's an 0-2 pitch. Garcia takes it low. KOEHLER has walked 2 today. Allowed a run, 4 base hits, no strikeouts. 2-2.
You know, you got some guys who go up there to have to learn that pinch hit at bat is not like a starter's at bat. You can't go up there looking for, you know, taking too many strikes or trying. You got to find something that's in your hitting area and attack it. You don't want to go up there and be 0-2 when you're pinch hitting.
Never swung the bat. You don't want to do that either.
Yeah, that's part of it. Like, you want to at least give your team a chance, or for the reason they put you in the game, and that's to swing the bat to do something. But when you never swing the bat as a pinch hitter, that's a tough at bat, especially when you punch out. Like, that's not where you went up there.
Nope. Here's Carpenter, who is 0 for 2, lined out to second, also flied out to center. And Carpenter in the first pitch lifts a fly ball to Ichiro, who's manning center field today for Miami. 2 away. With 2 outs, nobody on, the batter will be Colton Wong. No activity in the pen for Miami as they stretch out Tom KOEHLER here today. Wong is 2 for 2, a couple of infield hits. Average at 273. Should be an interesting year in the National League East. If the Marlins can stay healthy, everyday lineup, they should be competitive, very competitive.
They have the team that when they're healthy, nobody really wants to play.
Yeah.
Because they play defense so well. They got 3 good outfielders. The infield is really solid. They got a couple pitchers that have great stuff. They have a closer and Ramos, who's been really good over the past few years.
Wong lifts it in the air to right. That ball will get down. Cut off by Stanton. And Colton Wong is 3 for 3 today.
So when you look at the makeup of the ball club, when they're healthy, they're just as formidable as anybody else in the NL East.
The loss of Caps, how critical is that? Because, you know, he could have been a guy that gives you a save here and there, could have been a dominant setup man, high 90s velocity.
And anytime you have a guy who leads the league in strikeouts per 9 innings, that's tough. but they also have options down there who I think can fill into that role. And we talked to Nieves earlier. Brian Morris. If Brian Morris can become the Brian Morris he was when he came from Pittsburgh a couple years ago to the Marlins, he's going to do everything that Carter Capps did. I mean, he's got 95 to 97 with a nasty sinker, a good slider. That guy can be your setup guy. Also, Dunn came in and did very well over the past few years. He's a lefty that throws 95. They have a lot of guys that can put the worries away for losing a guy like Carter Capps. It's just a matter they got to perform up to it.
Brian Morris, a .66 ERA 2 years ago. Holliday on the first pitch, hits it out of play.
I think part of it with Morris was he started losing a little bit of confidence. He had a couple rough outings, and then he stopped having that free and easy motion because he was too worried about, getting too much of the plate. But, hopefully he'll get back to that mindset was, look, I got 37. There's no reason for me to not be confident right here. It's hard enough to hit it when it's straight, and my 97 has turbo sync to it. Let it go and see what happens.
1 pitch now, 0-2. You said you worked with Holliday in the outfield, making that transition. How tough was it for him in that ballpark in Colorado?
It was tough. It was really tough. He struggled defensively for a while, but he didn't quit. He still worked at it, but it wasn't easy. Being an infield type guy, then having to deal with the extra way the ball carried there, the big spacious outfield in Colorado, it was tough, but he did work at it, and he kept working at it.
He is a tireless worker. Keeps himself in great shape.
Well, the one thing they had to do was get dumbbells big enough for him, because he came over to the team and he was looking at the dumbbell rack, and they're like, that's it. They're like, well, where's the 125s? Matt Holliday, you're the only person on the planet that uses 125-pound dumbbells. Like,
the strikeout of Holliday, 2 in the inning. It's 1-0. 125? Are you kidding me? 1-0 St. Louis.
The time.
Advantage of a sweet new deal with the all-inclusive 10-game suite plan and the 6-game suite plan. Enjoy the comfort and luxury of your private suite with flexibility to select your games. No blackout dates, a fixed cost with great food and beverage menu options, parking, and more. Call 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/suites.
Well, you think about the trio in the outfield. We mentioned it a little bit earlier, but Yelich, OZUNA, Stanton, that 3 might be the best in baseball, collectively.
I agree. When they're healthy, they do things as a unit that no one else's outfield can do. Yelich, a Gold Glover, may run the best routes of any left fielder in the league. He doesn't have as strong of arm of a Stanton or OZUNA, but the way he goes to the baseball, his feet, his first move is always right. OZUNA is a pure center fielder. Great feet, great arm, great range. And Stanton is a better outfielder than anybody knows, because we talk so much about the power and his ability at the plate. Well, when he's healthy and he's in outfield, he covers a lot of ground. He throws tremendously well. He's not only a strong arm, but it's an accurate arm. And when you put those 3 together, it's a great outfield.
There's Don Kelly, the pinch hitter for KOEHLER. His day is through. Yelich signing some autographs. Apparently his day is through. And Matt Bowman is the new pitcher for St. Louis. Bowman, acquired in the Rule 5 draft back in December. He's a 24-year-old. It's going to be tough for him to crack a spot with this team. He was with the Mets a year ago in their AAA affiliate in Las Vegas and was 7-16. Former 13th round selection back in 2012 by New York. And a ground ball that is foul. Some of the regulars are out, so Greg Garcia stays in the game at second base. Jacob Wilson is taken over at third for the Cardinals. Washington is your new first baseman.
You go back to talking about Yelich. One of the things that happened to him last year that I think is going to be a tremendous help throughout his career is in June last year, he was hitting about 215, 220. And you're talking about a guy who's won batting titles in the minor league. He's done everything you could ever think of with the bat in his career. And he'd never struggled like that before until the big leagues. And a lot of guys will go backwards when they're that good so young and then they start struggling in the big leagues. But he had this quiet confidence about him. And after hitting just over 200 at some point in June, he ended up the season batting 300. So that just shows you that this kid has the ability, he has the belief, and he's going to be good for a while.
How much was the back an issue for him a year ago?
He was definitely more hurt than he even wanted to believe at the beginning of the season. You could see that in the outfield, some ground balls he would go to, and it would just look like it was a very ginger approach to go and get the ball, not bending fully over to get down there. And you could tell it was bothering him in his swing. But once that was gone, you saw that Christian Yelich that everybody knows, you know, that pure hitter. He's a Keith Hernandez, Don Mattingly type hitter. That's what he brings to the plate.
Here's an 0-2 pitch to Ichiro. Back to the top of the lineup. That's lined into the dugout and out to Jacob Wilson. Yeah, Yelich hit 342 after the All-Star break. Third best in the National League behind only Joey Votto and David Peralta. And a strikeout of Ichiro. So Bowman has gotten the first two.
Yeah, after you foul a couple down the third base line as a left-hand hitter, the last thing you want is to be busted in. And Bowman did a great job with that spot. Worked him inside there. Ichiro kind of, you know, poked his butt out a little bit, but the ball came back and get a free ticket to the dugout when that happens.
Here's Real Muto with 2 outs and nobody on.
I'm sorry, every time I look at this kid Bowman pitch, I see Lincecum from San Francisco. He's got that approach. Even the way he stands when he's taking, when he's getting the sign, the way his head's turned. Everything is Tim Lincecum up there.
Took some off that pitch at 85 miles an hour. Yeah, Lincecum had the incredible reach with the leg and then how far he would stride towards the plate. Bent his back. That's back to Bowman. And he has himself a 1-2-3 inning. Not quite the fruit, but he'll take it. 3 quick outs in the top of the 6th. here in Jupiter, Florida, Roger Dean Stadium. Preston Wilson, former Cardinal and Marlin and Rocky and Matt. Well, you just did about every, you were all over the place.
Yeah. Yes, I got a few different suitcases in my career. It's always nice when you got all that luggage stacked up at home and you say, oh, hey, there's a Rocky suitcase. Hey, Cardinal suitcase. Yeah.
Preston is with us. He's going to be a game analyst on Fox Sports Florida. I'm Dan McLaughlin on Fox Sports Midwest. And wherever you may be, we hope you're enjoying some spring training baseball here from Roger Dean Stadium.
Well, on the mound here, Jose Urena is one of those guys that the Marlins have been looking for to be that answer of who's the next young guy that's going to step up. Throws mid-90s, got great velocity, also has a really good changeup for a young guy. And his problem has just been making sure he's under control, not getting the pitch count too high, and throwing strikes. If he does that, he's going to be a guy that rockets up to the big leagues in no time.
99 on the gun.
Yeah, with stuff like that.
Saw him the other day against St. Louis, and it caught your attention. I mean, he kind of slings it up there. He makes that hitter from the right side uncomfortable. That's a good example right there.
Yeah, when you get 99 coming out, you're not going to wait long enough to see that slider sometimes. And, Grichuk got a good look at it right there. It's a good hard-breaking slider. But I really think his best secondary pitch is his changeup.
Breaks his bat, pulled towards third. And Randall Grichuk is retired for the first out here in the bottom of the sixth.
That's a good job right there by a young pitcher. Getting the first fastball strike, getting the hitter to expand with a slider, then not being afraid to come back on the inside part of the plate and really get yourself a nice, easy out there.
Tom KOEHLER made the start for the Marlins today. Walked 2, struck out 3, gave up a run. There was a Ruben Tejada double to bring in HAZELBAKER back in the second inning. This is Moss, slowly hit against the shift. 2 away. Well, you'll see this sometimes as pitchers get stretched out in spring training. Guy may start, and instead of keeping him in live action, once you get that pitch count up, goes to the bullpen and keeps on throwing.
Well, and KOEHLER's the type of guy that wants to do this as well. And one of the things that happens is, even though you take him out of the game, you want to get the pinch count up. You want to get the work in. And one of the problems that Tom KOEHLER's had over the years is once he starts getting a little tired, his front side starts flying open and he starts rushing a little bit, and you start seeing a lot of balls left on that third base side because he's not staying close long enough and driving the ball to the plate. So that's something that I think it's in his mind to make sure that he's not just going 5-6 innings every time out, to be able to work on that even when he's tired and to get good results with the ball in the strike zone where he wants by keeping those mechanics nice and sound.
1 ball, 1 strike on Yadier Molina. He has a base hit today. That was a single to left in the second inning. Trevor Rosenthal, the Cardinals closer, racked up nearly 50 saves a year ago, is getting loose, and it looks like he'll pitch the 7th for St. Louis. Well, that's nasty stuff right now. This guy's
when you
something special.
99, 98, 99, and you got a short arm slider like that, this batter's eye isn't doing anybody any favors right now.
Molina with a base hit into center field. Yadi, and you've seen it, Preston, being his teammate and then watching from afar, the bat control of Molina is outstanding. I mean, he's just a guy that you can hit and run with, and in that particular pitch just makes contact and takes it right back up the box.
And sometimes that's a veteran teaching a young guy a lesson too. You threw that nasty slider. Don't think I can't get the bat on it again just because you fooled me once. And also as a young guy, Urena's got to understand that I throw 99. So I don't have to show him that same pitch twice in a row. I can throw a fastball, whether it's a ball or a strike, just to kind of get the hitter's eyes back on something fast if I do want to try to get him out with the breaking ball. But right there, maybe it's a case of being a little impatient. You got 2 quick outs. You're trying to end that inning with that very next breaking ball, and the veteran taught you a lesson.
Eric Fryer's the pinch runner for Molina, inside to HAZELBAKER. 2 balls, no strikes. Jeremy today hit into a fielder's choice, has scored the only run for the Cardinals. That was in the second, and then was robbed on a ball that was off of KOEHLER that went to Rojas, and he barehanded it and made a beautiful play.
Sometimes as a pitcher, when something's working, you don't necessarily have to change it. You got that nice, easy out on Grichuk.
Look at this. Wow. Look at this again. Nearly robbed him for the second time.
They are fun to watch. There's no ball that's through until it's through. They cover so much ground. They take good angles on ground balls. It's fun to watch.
Ball gets through. Fryer very well could be a third. Then you're a wild pitch away from being up 2-0.
Well, I think he thought it was going to go through because he started rounding the base. And then all of a sudden, when the ball went in the glove, he kind of geared it back down and changed his angle back to the base.
So here's Tejada. Cardinals have been playing Jed Jerko and also Aledmys Diaz at shortstop with the injury to Peralta. Then they went out and got Tejada. Runners at first and second. Strike one. Tejada, the lone RBI today with a double down the right field line. See him anticipate, pull in the outfield, not very deep. Tejada does have a couple of home runs in his career, but he's not the type of guy you expect to knock it out of the ballpark.
I'm actually surprised they're playing him a little pull here. I would think they would tighten up the gaps in left to right, have Kelly Johnson move a little bit into the gap and play Ichiro a little bit on the right side, but maybe they're seeing something in Tejada today that you know, against Urania that they think is going to have to play him to the pull side.
I also thought Stanton may be a little too deep for Tejada in right. But I thought the same thing. As hard as he's throwing, Tejada, as we've seen, is adept at going the other way.
Then again, that might be why I'm up here not playing anymore. Then. I thought one too many things that wasn't right.
No.
No, but even on that foul ball there, you see that ball, he was a little late in the strike zone. And then on the RBI, where there's a ball that hits the ball to right field. So sometimes a guy may be a pull hitter, but today he's not a pull hitter. So you can't always go by the book. The book is kind of a guideline, but you got to watch guys on a pitch-by-pitch, day-by-day basis to see what they're doing.
Here's the 0-2 to Ruben Tejada instead of check on the runner at second. That's Fryer. Two outs, two on. Tejada into shallow right, and Rojas is there. May have broken his bat. And the Cardinals strand two, and we head to the seventh. And it looks like Trevor Rosenthal coming on, the Cardinals closer, when we come back.
If Uncle Sam
1-0 over the Marlins in the top of the 7th, along with Preston Wilson. I'm Dan McLaughlin. And Preston, what did you see from Tom Koehler today?
I saw a good live fastball today. I saw a really good breaking ball at times. And I saw what I always see. I saw this guy with this bulldog mentality who you just have to beat. He's never going to give you anything. He's going to give you everything he's got as a pitcher. And he's the type of guy that you want in your rotation.
So you heard that, Tom. Do you actually believe all that stuff from Preston?
He's just trying to get back on my good side. Fox Sports Midwest going on right now.
And Fox Sports Florida.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's a split feed.
That's right.
Double coverage.
How did you feel today?
I felt good. I actually felt better as the game progressed. Early on, was trying to work on a couple of things, and then about the 3rd, 4th inning, we kind of got into more season-like sequencing, and I felt like I got to where I really wanted to be in the game.
Yeah, later on I started noticing your command early in the count got a lot sharper, maybe because you were working on things early, but the last few innings there, did you feel you were getting into the count, getting early strikes better?
Honestly, I just felt like something kind of clicked, kind of got away from the spring training mentality, and it felt like a real game, felt like any game in July. So that's what you're searching for. You're searching for those competitive juices to start really flowing, and you try to simulate as much as you can, and you try to do that while you work on things. And then today was good because it got me to exactly where I wanted to be.
Tom, explain for fans, we had a shot of you after you were pitching that you went down into the bullpen. What are you trying to accomplish when you do that?
I was supposed to get 6 innings today. My pitch count was a little bit up, so I wanted to go back down there and make sure that I sat down and went back out for a simulated 6th, or I faced 2 hitters in the pen, and it was more to just get the body used to sitting. That way, for my next start, I can recover and feel what it's like to recover after 6 instead of just throwing a heavy workload at 5.
Tom, after building upon the last couple years, last year you led the team in innings and starts. What are you looking to build on this year? What's your focus as far as how are you going to get better? What's your focus this year?
I would love that to be the case again this year. That means, well, actually, you know what? I don't want that. I don't want to lead. I don't want to lead in innings and starts. I want one of our big guys. I want Jose to be up there in innings. I want Chen to do what we brought him here to do. For me, I want to limit those big innings and those big games where a couple times last year I got chased a little bit earlier than I would have liked. The good games are good, but got to make sure those bad ones are still kind of good to where the team's in and has a chance to win the game.
You're working with a new pitching coach. What is that like, trying to get used to each other?
It's good, but it takes time because, we got to build trust. He's got to know my weaknesses just as much as my strengths, and he's got to be able to trust me when I tell him, hey, that I'm good for another one, or this is what I was trying to do here. So you got to build the trust, and at this point, we're getting real close, and I would say that's probably more of a spring training story. Here's 6 weeks, and 6 weeks, oh boy.
Out to center, and it is gone. Stanton on a 3-0 pitch. Tom, you can just take it away right now.
I like that. Big fella goes boom.
I like it.
Yes. I've been waiting for that. It was a little shorter than I would have liked, though. Usually, I was thinking the first one was going to clear the clubhouse in left center, but oh, man, I like seeing those when I pitch. I'll tell you what. Nothing like a first inning homer from him, go out there 1-0, or hopefully this year guys get on and 4-0.
TK, working with a new pitching coach, one of the things that we spoke to him earlier, you mentioned, was helping you see the way teams are approaching you. Do you feel that, you don't have to give away any state secrets or, of what you saw, but do you feel like having someone show you from a hitter's point of view what their hitters are trying to do, does that help you?
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be the 4th go-around in the league, so obviously there's a little bit of a history. I know what I'm trying to do to hitters, so they know what they're trying to do to me. So just trying to maybe change some sequencing up or do something a little bit better to get them off certain pitches will help, and we've been discussing that a lot. That's why we're working the different sequences in camp right now. So, yeah, I think that's something that can help. And obviously we got Donnie here and Barry, who phenomenal hitters. I mean, I don't even need to read their baseball cards. You guys can do that. So we have them stand in our bullpen, see if they can pick anything up, and we're using them as a resource too.
What has camp been like with a new manager and a new pitching coach, as we talked about, but in particular with Don Mattingly?
It's been good. There's a new level of focus. I think we're finally starting to develop. You always hear the Cardinal way, or this is how this team plays, and I think we're trying to build that style of brand of baseball over here. Not saying we want to do things exactly like any other team, but We want to build Marlins brand of baseball to where when a team comes to Miami or when we go play a team, they know what they're getting from us each night, whether that's just playing hard, taking extra bases. They know that no matter what the score, we're not going to give up, and we're not going to be done until there's 27 outs on the board.
Now, you're from the Bronx, right?
That's right.
You grew up a Yankee fan?
Yeah, I did.
How about Don Mattingly?
He was my favorite player as a kid. I told him that once. I don't know. I tried not to be like a little fanboy, like, hey, Donnie! Oh. Things like that. But I did let him know that I was a very big fan of his, and he joked that I saw him when he was broken because I was too young to remember his prime. But he's a tremendous ball player. I mean, he was Jeter in New York before Jeter, so I got the opportunity, and he actually signed a ball for me when I was like 10 years old, and my dad knew someone that worked in the clubhouse, so he sent it up. So I haven't shared that story with him yet. I'm trying to wait a little bit.
You probably could get another ball signed too right now if you wanted to.
Yeah, but I'm waiting for that one. I don't go win a couple of games before I start asking him to sign a jersey.
Hey, Tom, we appreciate it very much, and you have a great future in broadcasting when your playing career is done in 15 years.
Yeah, hopefully it's not next year.
It's 15 years. 15.
Right. You got a long ways, man.
I said 15. I made sure to say that.
All right. I'll be with you, Preston, in the booth.
All right. Thanks, Tom. We appreciate it.
All right, bye.
That's Tom KOEHLER, the starter for the Marlins today. How great is that?
Yeah, man. I tell you what, he's one of the nicest young men you're going to find in Major League Baseball. And you couple that with the fact of how hard he works. Being a guy who comes from a small school, Stony Brook, he wasn't a high draft choice. He's had to fight for every bit of recognition, every accolade that he's ever gotten. He had to fight for it. There was he wasn't a prospect that was always ready to get handed that next job. He earned it all. He came here a couple years ago, earned that 5th spot, and he hasn't stopped yet.
There's a bouncer to the right side, Garcia. The home run for Stanton, by the way, his first of the spring, and it comes on a 3-0 pitch by Trevor Rosenthal.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Honestly, when I see a guy hitting 6-7 home runs in spring training, how many of those guys you ever hear of have decent years? Like nobody does.
No.
It's one of those things where it sounds good, but in spring training, nobody's going to pitch you the same. I had a lot of spring trainings where I would hit 1 to 4 home runs. I don't think I hit more than like 4 or 5 home runs in the spring. But then I'd go out, you hit your 20 to 30, and you're good. It's just.
Oh, yeah, for you, 20, 30, no big deal, whatever. It's all good. There are guys out there dying to hit 5, and you're 20 to 30, it's no big deal.
Yeah, but I also struck out 100+ times, so,
Well,
it goes along with it.
Yeah, you take the power with the strikeouts. That's the way the game's played now in many ways.
Well, that's the way the game used to be. It changed in a while, with the whole era of the PEDs and all of that, where guys were having high averages, high home runs, and no strikeouts. But now the game is going back to what it was. Your power hitters are going to hit between 270 and 290. They're going to hit their 25 to, plus 30, 40 home runs, whatever those guys are. Then you're going to have your guys that hit 300. They're going to hit your 8 to 12 home runs. That's how the game was. You talk about Mattingly. Mattingly didn't hit 25 home runs. Keith Hernandez didn't. He was a 317 hitter. He'd hit 12, 15 home runs. That's how the game was. And you had your guys, your sluggers, who would hit 250 and then they'd hit 30. So now the game is going back to that, I think, where you're starting to see the game become the way it was before.
Pitch number 21 in the inning by Rosenthal, and it's in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Trevor coming off a tremendous season for the St. Louis Cardinals a year ago. Their closer notched a club record 48 saves. May have gotten to 50 if he wasn't shut down in the final weekend of the season. That the Cardinals had wrapped up the division. Then they had 3 games in Atlanta that were, in terms of positioning in the postseason, meaningless. And the Cardinals won 100 games last year. It's 1 better than Lee Smith's 47 saves that he recorded in 1991. So he is now the single season all-time leader in saves with 48 back in 2015.
Yeah, but he didn't get the walk out of the club, out of the bullpen like Lee Smith did.
Well, Lee would just, that was boom, boom, boom.
And what? You could almost feel that big, like, what's he, 6'7", coming out of the bullpen. You're like, oh my God, we got no chance, guys.
Have you ever shook, just shake hands with Lee? He's got the biggest hands you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, they wrap around your forearm.
The 2-2 is a fly ball lifted into shallow right. And it's time to stretch. Giancarlo Stanton with a home run and a nice visit with Tom Koehler. Many thanks to him. 1-1 midway through 7.
Think you know.
Bottom of the 7th, it's 1-1. Cardinals about hit Miami 7-3, but Giancarlo Stanton with a 3-0 pitch against Trevor Rosenthal. He knows what to do with this. Oof, the sound of it. Different sound when it comes off his bat. And I'm told that he is with us. Mr. Stanton, hello. Good to see you.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to see you again. Let's talk about it. Your first home run, I mean, is it a relief? Is it a big deal? What did you take away from it?
No big deal to me in terms of home run, but the fact that I've missed a few fastballs over the plate, you know, in the mid-90s, it's good that I got on top of one right there. So that's what I take out of that.
Well, Gene, Preston Wilson here. How are you feeling, man? You know, you come back from the off season. You know, how are you feeling out there in the outfield? How do your legs feel?
I feel pretty good. You know, I had that hiccup with my knee, so I'm just trying to get a few games back-to-back in terms of just sitting down, getting back up. So the soreness is fine. I just got to get a few games back-to-back and some more ABs just to, you know, I looked the other day, I only had like 12 at bat, so I wanted to get those up and feel more comfortable and get on top of those fastballs.
Now, I know I had a number as far as at bats. I used to try to get at least 40 at bats or 30 plus at bats in spring training. Do you have a number that you need to get to feel like, okay, I've had enough at bats to be ready for the season?
I don't have a number. I think I'll pretty much feel it in the box once I put some good at bats a few games in a row behind each other. But because I've missed some spring trainings too, and I've been okay. So it's more of getting that comfortable feel in the box and make sure you're on time and ready to go.
You know, a lot of people talking that Barry Bonds out-hit you in a home run hitting contest last week. Is this true? Or can you explain this to me?
Well, that's what happens. A lot of people talk. It's just, you see guys hitting, and then you want to fabricate whatever story you want. But no, we were out there doing hitting drills, situational drills, and, you know, we took about 40 swings, and he popped in for the last round and poked a few out. So in terms of the whole day, I hit maybe 12 homers, so he hit 4 in 9 swings, but yeah, that's how it went down.
So you're setting the record straight right now. That's good.
I'm setting it straight, yeah.
That's what I like to hear. How is he helping you? I mean, you know, you're a great hitter, a great player. He obviously is one of the greats that ever played this game. How can he help Giancarlo Stanton this year?
Just because we're so similar in terms of presence in the box, I'd say. So when I'm thinking something, if I'm in my head a little too much or trying to overthink and outthink what the pitcher's trying to do, the catcher's trying to do, you know, he'll simplify that because he did that better than anyone, I'd say, ever. When the teams would come in there and their whole purpose was to not let Bonds beat him, and they throw him 1 or 2 pitches in the series and they beat him both times. So it's that patience and that presence of being ready to go when, you know, he may not get as many pitches and do something with them.
When you talk about a guy like Barry, I had a good chance to talk to him throughout my career. Are you amazed at how laser focused and intelligent he is about the whole pitcher trying to get you out process? I mean, the way he comes off, some people, it's like, some people can talk about math, but he's talking about physics. Do you get that from him?
I get that. You know, some people as well, you think, you know, they got this secret formula, this secret this and that. It's not a secret formula. It's how precise and how direct and important someone puts into it every day and doesn't let one pitch go by or one thing without analyzing it, and that's the difference. You know, those 1 or 2 times or that day that you kind of, you know, I'll be all right, this guy's on the mound or whatever, you know, you got to be locked in 100% of the time. How
frustrating is it to maybe only see 1 pitch a game that you may get to drive? I mean, how do you deal with that?
You just got to be patient, man. I'd say the first 1 or 2 at-bats, and then the third at-bat you come in and you want to do too much. You want to go get the ball, but you gotta understand that's the game. That's the cat and mouse that you got to overcome, and know that you'll get one eventually, but you got to be ready for it.
How you feeling with the hand, too? Any lingering effects, or is that okay?
Hand's been all right. Hand's been okay.
Well, that's it, man. Thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing you this year. I'm excited to see how you and Barry, how that relationship plays out. But more importantly, I'm excited to see you back out there on the field consistently.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Sure, no problem.
Washington out to deep center field. This will carry, and it's off the wall. Garcia being waved in. Hold the runner at third. That's Wilson, and David Washington has put the Cardinals back on top, 2-1. I've had the chance to visit with Stanton, and obviously you're around him every day, but what a nice young man. I mean, he respects the game, respects those around him. Terrific. I mean, and when you sign that kind of contract, there's a responsibility with it, too, both on and off the field. And he's great with the fans from what I've seen, from our perspective of being down here and watching him play. And, I mean, you talk about a talent. Holy smokes.
For the most part, the Marlins have done a great job of not just finding talent, but they found guys that are good guys at their core. You know, I think Stanton can be a little shy sometimes, I think because he's really conscious of the image that he portrays and he doesn't want to be put in a bad light. But under all of that, there's this really nice, sweet guy who cares about his team, he cares about his city, cares about his ball club. And there's not many guys who you look at and you go, you know what, I'm glad he got that contract. You know, because everybody's not that nice, but he's one of those guys where you look at, you know what, I'm glad he got that contract. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
13 years and a whole lot of money.
Yeah, but you know what, he has that rare presence that he's got that McGuire Bonds type power where even the fans look at it and the teams who he's playing against and with, they look at it. You know, when you got teams that come out to watch you take batting practice, that's something special. That only happened to Bonds and McGuire from when I was playing. You know, they say it happened with Strawberry sometimes or Piazza, but Giancarlo Stanton is one of those guys where the visiting team will get out on the field early to watch him take batting practice.
When I watch him take BP, and I'm one of those guys that comes out early to watch, the thing I really take notice is that you're waiting for him to unload and just unleash and start hitting home runs. He takes everything to right field. He lets the ball get deep, and at the first round of batting practice, everything is going to right field to get locked in.
Well, it's a process, and he's learned to start working his batting practice. Everybody thinks you just go up there and swing, but there is a process that you go to get to that optimal swing by game time, and part of it is letting the ball travel, hitting the ball the other way. Look how many sliders they throw him. Look how many fastballs away they throw him. So he has to approach that like that's going to happen, and then towards the end of your batting practice, then you start to explode and just hit the ball wherever it's thrown. But you always want to start the other way, no matter whether you're a slap hitter or whether you're a big-time power hitter like Giancarlo Stanton.
Many thanks for Mr. Stanton for stopping on by.
Oh, you know, he's a great guy, and I appreciate him taking the time to stop by. Can we talk about these two guys that the Cardinals have sent to the plate recently in Washington and Pagero?
Big dudes.
They might be two of the biggest people on this planet. Good Lord.
Pagero, he is 6'5", and Washington is 6'5". And Washington won a dunk contest in San Diego when he was in high school in basketball. Very good athlete. Pagero runs about 255, and you ought to see him move. He can move. Hits it out of play. Now, he does have major league experience. Last year, brief call-up with Texas, but he's had a good camp. Yeah, 6'5", 260 from the Dominican Republic.
Are you kidding me? My goodness.
Big dudes.
Yeah, this is you don't want to get into a brawl with this team.
Sizing up the brawl. Yeah, you're breaking it all down.
That's always one thing you got to look at, man. You got to look at who you might have to go against. You know, it might happen once a year, but
Pagero strikes out.
Good pitch by McGowan right there.
So here's Randall Grichuk and what probably will be his final at bat.
It's a good little front door sinker. Looks like he starts it in there. Gets that. Yeah, that's old Greg Maddux special right there. Start it in on you, let it tail back over the plate. You give up on it as a hitter, and it catches the corner. Good pitch.
So 2 on. Randall Grichuk 0 for 1 today with a couple of walks. Infield is drawn in with 1 out. Down to third, not in time. Wilson back in safely.
As a hitter right here, you have to focus on getting the ball up in the zone and away from you. 2 reasons. When the ball's down, you're most likely going to hit it on the ground. The fastball away or the breaking ball away is the easiest pitch to pop up or hit in the air. So I'd rather you pop up to the second baseman than hit a hard line drive one hopper to the third baseman, because that shows me that your focus is right.
Here's the 0-1. Now 0-2. So 0-2 from Grichuk's perspective. What do you anticipate he sees here?
Well, now he's in scramble mode. Now the pitcher may go away, but he's going to try to expand the plate away. The pitcher did a good job of staying middle in early, but as a hitter, even if it's a strike for your first pitch, you don't want to offer at that sinker in. I spent a lot of time in my career jogging down the first baseline going, doggone it, I should have waited, because it's not the right pitch for that situation.
0-2. Went in, a check swing, and fouled back.
You know, it's different if they're playing the infield back. Now your pitch selection or what's open to you is different. But when you have an RBI situation like this with 1 out, your success is going to come middle away with a ball that's more up in the zone. That's going to be the pitch you can do your job with.
Here's the 0-2.
Now you got to hope for a mistake. You got to get something you can handle somehow.
Here it is on 1-2. See if he would chase away. He doesn't. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So now it's back to even. 2-2.
Even though he didn't get the strikeout right there, it's a good sequence from McGowan, because he went 0-2 hard in to try to see if Grichuk was still looking in there. Then he expanded maybe a little bit too far for my liking on that 1-2 pitch. Let's see where he goes here.
He also may be thinking, once he got back to 2-2, first base is open. I've got a lefty on deck. I might bring in a lefty anyway. Do I really want to give what has been their best hitter anything to hit?
Well, that's part of the process. That's part of understanding, you know, what the scenario is, who's coming up for who you got right now. And, you know, at this point, he may just decide, I'm not going to throw a strike, you know.
So the count runs full with 1 out, runners at second and third. The next 2, Randall Grichuk. Grichuk chased, and he strikes out. So McGowan gets a big strikeout there, and now it's Moss. Miami with a lefty getting loose in their pen.
But that's when you're Grichuk, you have to go back to the dugout and look at this sequence and understand that you got yourself out on the first 2 pitches of the at bat. Yeah, you swung and missed at that slider and that count, but you set yourself up for that by swinging at 2 pitches that were not going to allow you to get your job done. You know, the very luckiest thing that could have happened was he snap hook one down the line past the third baseman. But the odds of that are so much fewer than possibly getting a ball that you can handle and doing something in the middle of the field.
Here is Moss. He looks at a strike. Regular season play, you're probably seeing a lefty come in right here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing that baseball has really gone overboard with is the matchups late in the game. All these matchups, especially. You have lefties who might have 70 appearances and have 35 innings.
Right. Moss lines it out to left field. That ball is down. 2 runs will score. And Brandon Moss adds to the Cardinal lead with a 2-out RBI double that scores 2. And it's 4-1 St. Louis.
We got a ball, you know, the situation is a little different now. We got 2 outs, but most guys, the ball away from them is the one they hit in the air. You know, this ball's down, but it's over the middle of the plate, and he's able to get through it and hit it in the air. It's a nice piece of hitting right there. Got the ball, got through it. Anytime you see the numbers of the outfielders, that's always nice.
So 4-1 St. Louis, and now it's Eric Fryer. Took over for Yadier Molina behind the plate. Looks at a strike. We were talking before the game that Fryer has become pretty good friends with Mike Matheny. They're both from Reynoldsburg, Ohio, and they met when Matheny got a key to the city 2 years ago.
I'll give you an interesting thought process. You brought up earlier about Grichuk maybe walking him because he had been their best hitter. Well, now once you get Grichuk out, you got a lefty up in first base open. Maybe you don't want to give that good pitch to the lefty. Maybe you want to go after Fryer instead of going after Ross there.
Here's the 0-2. Oh, and he's hit on the 0-2 pitch.
You know, so it's on a continuum. You know, the situation changes. Okay, well, maybe I didn't want to pitch to this guy, but I got him out. So now this guy that's the lefty that I wanted to attack, maybe he's not the right guy to attack anymore.
So that'll be it for the right-hander McGowan. The lefty is coming in to face HAZELBAKER. So lefty-lefty matchup. More of what you'll see in regular season play as Don Mattingly will go to his bullpen. Cardinals jumped out to a 1-0 lead. Miami tied it up. Now St. Louis back on top, 4-1. With the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay connected all spring. Radio broadcast, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet. HAZELBAKER to face a lefty. Runners at first and second for St. Louis. You can see where this left-hander would be tough.
Tell you what, that's tough to come out of the bullpen, throw that first pitch breaking ball strike to a lefty, and for a left-handed hitter to try to hang in there when he's throwing from the back of your shirt. That's not easy.
0-2 the count with 2 men on for St. Louis.
Hey, look, Cody E.G., he gives you a different look. He's more like a Javier Lopez that throws from down there out around the corner. The velocity isn't great, but it's also a different pickup site for the ball.
Here's the 0-2. Doesn't chase. HAZELBAKER today reached on a fielder's choice, scored the first run of the game back in the second, was robbed in the fourth, and singled in the sixth. And for a guy trying to make the club, this is also a good test to see what he does against a left-hander. That ball scoots away, and runners advance to second and third.
Since that first breaking ball, E.G. hasn't looked that comfortable. This pitch misses by a lot. He really holds on to it a long time, yanks it out there. Both runners advance. But now he's got a 2-2 count, and he's got to find a way to get this out right here.
Almost hit him with the pitch.
Yeah, somehow the mechanics went a little funky after the first pitch or two. Hasn't really been close. And the last thing you want to do is when that manager brings you in as a left-handed specialist to face a lefty, you don't want to walk him. You're better off giving up a hit than walking him.
And a swing and a miss. He gets the strikeout. But the Cardinals pick up 3 in the home half of the 7th. And with that, they've opened up a 3-run lead. It's 4-1 St. Louis over Miami.
We have private suites located behind home plate that can be rented for just 1 game. Suites accommodate groups from 16 to 60 guests, offer VIP service, and feature exquisite food and beverage options. Book your Marlins suite today. Call 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/suites.
St. Louis over Miami. Fans enjoying the Florida sunshine. A little spring training. Jack McKeon, Trader Jack, and he still holds court. I see him with fans all the time. I talked to him for about an hour the other day. He's great to visit with, and led the Marlins, of course, to the 03 championship.
One of the most fun conversations with a baseball man you will ever have is with Jack McKeon. He's so funny. It's so open and original, and you get joy from talking to him by listening to the things that he says.
You know, he wants to manage again. I'm serious. He said he wants to manage in another decade. So the Marlins may accommodate that for a game or two.
I like it. I tell you what, he's a great guy, and he finds a way to get players to open up and give him their all. He's one of those guys that he's a player's manager, even though he is strict about some things, but he has this uncanny knack to get players to play for him.
Kevin Segras, the tall lefty of the St. Louis Cardinals, against Robert Andino as we start play here in the 8th. Yeah, just got some sad news. Joe Garagiola has passed away at the age of 90.
Oh, wow.
And Joe was born on the Hill in St. Louis. He, along with Yogi Berra, were born and raised there. And, of course, Joe, outstanding playing career and broadcast career, is in the Hall of Fame. And so he has passed away, and our thoughts and prayers to their family. 3-0 the count on Robert Andino. I thought it was great hearing from Tom Kohler talk about idolizing Don Mattingly and now having the chance to play for him. You grew up obviously in a baseball family with your dad, Mookie, and you probably bounced around a little bit, but did you have a favorite team and a favorite player?
Well, early on, my favorite team was definitely the Mets, but my favorite player overall was Hank Aaron. Just reading about him when I was a kid, getting to see some of his late career. It was really, he was one of the few people that I met that I was awestruck. But beyond that, it was Willie Mays. I mean, just having Willie Mays be a center fielder, power,
the
guy,
things that you did.
It was one of the most awestruck moments when I met him, and he actually came to the locker room in San Francisco when I was a rookie, Candlestick Park. I'll never forget hearing this high-pitched voice going, "Where is he? I heard he's in here." And when you're in those days when you're a rookie, you just sit in your locker and wait till somebody says, "Let's go to the field." You didn't walk around talking to anybody. And I get this tap on my shoulder, and it felt like my skin came off because I'm looking at Willie Mays, and I almost squealed like a little kid. And I was like, "Oh my God!" Like Willie Mays was talking to me. So it was definitely one of my, as Tom Kohler could put it, my most fanboy experience is meeting Willie Mays.
That's great. Base hit into right center on a 1-1 pitch by Austin Nola. What's on tap? And we'll have a shared broadcast coming up. These are fun. We're going to do another one on Sunday. It's our Budweiser What's on Tap with the Cardinals and the Marlins at noon. And that'll be shared on Fox Sports Midwest and Fox Sports Florida. Again, that's presented by Budweiser. Of course, your dad was involved in one of the most famous plays in the history of baseball. His ground ball going through the legs of Bill Buckner in World Series of 1986. As this is Justin Maxwell. And you were telling me that your dad and Bill Buckner become very, very good friends and close friends over that one play.
They're really good friends. They've spoken a lot over the years. They meet up. Families are starting to get to know each other, over the past few years. And it's one of those things where people forget how great of a player Bill Buckner was and the amazing things that he did in his career. And, he had terrible ankles at that point. And he tried to get in front of the ball with both feet, tried to square it up. May have had a better chance if he just went one-handed at it. Ball squirted away from him, and it became one of the iconic World Series moments in all of baseball.
Those two have forged a friendship, and, you think about the odd circumstances as to why they have, and that's a pitch that gets away, and still Fryer kept it in front, but not in time to get Nola. And I'm sure they probably do, signings of pictures and that kind of thing?
They've done signings together, a lot of things. I know they were thinking about going fishing together. I know Bill had invited my father up to, I think it was Alaska or somewhere, to go salmon fishing. And I'm like, go. Like, why are you not going? So I'm hoping they take that trip together soon. But it's a very unique friendship, and they both cherish each other a lot.
That's great. Mookie with the Mets in Port St. Lucie?
Yeah, that's where he is right now.
That's caught at third by Jacob Wilson.
Well, I think that's good. Justin Maxwell has a lot of upside. He's a good outfielder. He's got a good power in his bat. He's one of those guys that can definitely help a ball club, with his ability. But also good base running right here. This is one of those plays where if you put your head down, you can get lost in the moment. But watch his eyes never leave the ball. Realize it's not going to clear. Does a good job getting back to the bases. Those are little things that managers look at, that coaches notice. There's no stat for it, but those are things that make a difference in a ball club and a ball game.
Here's Ichiro.
We get so caught up in stats that we forget that there's a lot of things that guys do that there's no stat for. There's no stat for understanding when to not go on a soft line drive. There's no stat for beating out a double play on the back end. But it shows up on your team. It shows up in the opportunities that you get later on throughout the inning, and it matters.
We have a stat for everything,
but
we don't have a stat for who's a good clubhouse guy, who's a good leader, who's a good teammate.
You know why? Because these statisticians, if they can't quantify it somehow, they don't think it's real. You know, they don't consider it real, just like they don't consider RBI as a big deal. Well, there's a reason why some guys can hit with men on base and some guys can't. You just can't quantify it, but there's a reason. But just because they can't give you a scientific explanation, they rule it as invalid. You gonna tell me Joe Carter wasn't a great baseball player, hit 250, 260, but he drove in 89, 100 runs a year? And to them, these you know, what do they call them, metrics guys? Yeah, no big deal.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Ichiro.
Sure, the Blue Jays feel differently.
The breaking ball and a strikeout of Ichiro. Trader Jack McKeon in the house today as we move to the bottom of the 8th. Where's the stogie? That's all it's missing. There it is.
Keep Marlins.
Cardinals with the lead, bottom of the 8th, and Tom Kohler, as we found out earlier, has a chance to be a future broadcaster.
I'd say that's probably more of a spring training story here. 6 weeks and 6 weeks. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Out to center, and it is gone.
I like that. Big fella goes boom.
I like it.
Yes. I've been waiting for that.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, easy, TK. You know, you're pitching in the big leagues right now. Just, you know, let us old guys stay in the broadcasting booth. Quit trying to take our jobs, man.
Ogando is the new pitcher to face Ruben Tejada. And the first pitch is hit out of play.
With the exception of the lefty EG that the Marlins sent out there, I think everyone is throwing in the mid-90s now in baseball. It's unbelievable. What happened to the guy that threw 91 miles an hour? Now that's guy's sliders. That's 91 miles an hour. He came out first pitch 94, 95. It's a whole different game.
Power pitching in the back end of bullpens. And it seems like every kid that is 21, 22 that we see in spring training games, or you go on the backfields on both sides here at Roger Dean and this complex, I mean, you just see guys that are throwing hard.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah, and it makes it tough for those guys that do throw that 88 to 91 that can actually pitch, because they're not lighting up the gun. So they don't get that second look that these high velocity guys got. And these high velocity guys, some of them are great, but some of them are just throwers. They can't necessarily pitch yet.
That's what made Greg Maddux so much fun to watch. When you saw him, you know, hit 90, 91, but the ball moved like a wiffle ball. In, out, movement.
Well, actually, when he threw hard, his ball straightened out. When he was throwing like 87, 88, that's when it looked like it had a joystick attached to it. But when he threw harder, it straightened out. And he said, he actually had this quote. He said, I can throw harder, but it wouldn't be better. And he lived by that his whole career. He actually had more velocity, but he knew the movement and the location wasn't there.
Let's take a look at the windup and the motion of Ogando.
Well, he's got everything coming at you. Front arm flying, back arm coming through. I mean, it's stuff. It's like a Goonie bird landing coming in. He's got stuff everywhere.
Garcia is 1 for 2 today, and that drops in for a strike.
As a hitter, man, there's so many. It becomes so finely tuned. So you start noticing all these little things.
0-2. And the guns are out with the scouts right behind home plate, too.
95, 94. He's staying in those mid-90s, and it's one of those things now where that's a part of baseball, where we want to see how hard you can throw.
Garcia lifts it out to left field for out number 2.
I think one of the worst things that happened in baseball was when they started putting the radar gun readings up in all the stadiums, because you'd have guys on the mound throw a pitch and then look over their shoulder to see how hard they throw, not focusing on where the pitch was located, not focusing on their mechanics of how they delivered the last pitch. They just want to turn around and see how hard I threw. And it became a distraction, because now you got guys not learning how to pitch or not focusing on how to pitch. They're just wondering about how hard I threw. You know, A.J. Burnett had a tough problem with that early in his career, because he threw 96, 97, could hit 98, and he would be more concerned of him having good stuff than him pitching well. You know, and later on he learned to get out of that, but it actually handicaps some guys when you have the gun on. We actually had a few pitchers when I was with the Marlins early in my career. They would turn the gun off when they came in. They would just shut it off because they didn't want them looking at it all the time.
And we saw with the Cardinals a lot Aroldis Chapman. And the first thing that everybody in the stadium looked at, including Chapman, was the gun. Now, he was hitting 103, so it was a little different than most. But the point is well taken that a lot of players, a lot of pitchers looking at how hard they throw. The 1-1. Tapped foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I also did that at fantasy camp, too. And I hit 72, and I was really excited. Broke 70. You were in fantasy camp this year.
I was at fantasy camp. I tell you, it was a good time to come down and see the guys on the field, and to more than anything, to have them respect how hard baseball is.
Well, they find out in a hurry, don't they?
Oh, it's an amazing thing to see. These guys come down, and we had a couple of ladies in camp too come down and get on the field and realize that the ball moves a lot quicker than they think it does on television. The bases are a lot further apart than the guys make them look. It's a whole different game when you're actually on the field.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Jacob Wilson. Then Preston, from the St. Louis perspective, will be back in town. We'll have a reunion of that 2006 World Championship team coming up this summer. That'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's always a good time to see the guys and to be around Cardinals Nation, see that sea of red out there. It's always going to hold a special place in my heart.
Tony La Russa will be back. Dave Duncan. Chris Carpenter. Aaron Miles has a bobblehead. He was so excited to hear that he was going to have a bobblehead.
Yeah.
You'd have thought it was Christmas morning for him.
Well, he's one up on me. I played in the year, 10 years, still don't have a ball. I never got a bobblehead. So
is that right?
Yeah, so Aaron Miles is up one on me. Yeah. It's one of the, thanks for bringing that up, Dan. I appreciate it. Because it's one of the few things that can actually get under my skin. So thanks for bringing that up. Appreciate it.
We'll get the marketing department all over that.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll forget about this on the way home. Thanks.
4-1 St. Louis as we head to the ninth. Loss, a 2-run double back in the 7th inning, part of a 3-run 7th for the Cardinals to break a 1-1 tie. And the Cardinals have a 4-1 lead over the Miami Marlins as we head to the 9th. Jonathan Broxton will be the new pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. Familiar spot for him, pitching in the 9th, but with the Cardinals this year, looking at more of the 7th, 8th inning role. Setup man to get to Trevor Rosenthal. 12th season, signed a 2-year deal in the offseason with the Cardinals.
We've still got a good arm. He's got the experience now to go along with it. It's a great guy to have as your 7th inning, 7th, 8th inning guy.
And the first pitch here in the 9th is taken for a strike. Cole Gillespie. Where does he fit in the plans for Miami?
Well, last year he was the 5th outfielder, so I think he may be in that same mix of fighting Justin Maxwell and maybe Xavier Scruggs for that 5th outfielder spot. Ichiro is going to be the 4th outfielder. Just a matter of who wins that last spot.
Base hit out to left. Leadoff man is on. And it brings in Xavier Scruggs.
And when you have at bats like that, that can only work in your favor. Cole Gillespie is one of those guys that does the little things. You know, he's going to give you a good at bat. Doesn't have great power, but he can play good outfield. He's a good base runner. He's a guy that you can trust with a roster spot.
Cardinal fans remember Xavier Scruggs. He was up and down last couple of years with St. Louis and trying to break camp with Miami. First pitch is a fly ball lifted into right field. Catch is made. Gillespie back to the bag at first, and there's one out. Jonathan Broxton. At one point, he was one of those guys we were talking about before that came out of the bullpen. He would hit triple digits as the closer for the Dodgers. Now he's more around 94, 96, but can get it up there into the high 90s.
You see what you just did this year? You see how baseball has changed? Now he's 94, 96. 94, 96 used to be the hardest guy on your team. That used to be your guy out of the bullpen that just threw flames. He may not even know where the ball's going, but he threw that 96. And now you got guys pitching comfortably at 94 to 96. It's just such a different way that the game is taken.
Just free and easy with it.
Not even trying hard. No, not max effort. Max effort is 98, but comfortably throwing 94 to 96.
Here's Nieto at the plate. The Cardinals, they talked about this being as crazy as it sounds, an important game for them because they were winless in their last 8 and lost 7 straight. So, Mike Matheny has said after the off day yesterday for the club that this was the time to start ramping it up, getting ready for the regular season. The regulars staying in the game a little bit longer, your starters going longer.
You definitely don't want to have the last week and a half, 2 weeks where you're just going through the motions. You want that intensity to start picking up, and I think maybe that's what Matheny's trying to get out of his ball club. He wants guys to start realizing that, okay, we've done the work now. Now let's start winning. Like you've gotten your ground balls in, you've gotten your legs under you, you've gotten your 5 and dive type games. Now let's put it out there. Let's go for it. And I think that's what every team wants in that last week or so of spring training.
2-1 pitch is up the middle past Garcia, and the tying run will come to the plate. Matt Youngel will be the hitter. So right back up the box, and the tying run is at the plate. Youngel wears number 95, no name on the back. Which is what you see in these type of games. A lot of times they'll pull a kid off the backfields, a minor leaguer.
It means so much to these kids, though, to be able to play in a big league environment, to come over, to play against big leaguers.
Youngel lines it to third. Force play at second, not in time.
And then you go back to minor league camp and you got stories to tell. I remember when I was in the minor leagues and you get called over for the big league game. Yeah, it's nice to get the meal money for that day, or get that big league meal money. But more than anything, you walk into a clubhouse and they see Giancarlo Stanton's locker. They see Jose Fernandez's locker. They see Martin Prado's locker. and they get to say that they shared a day with them. They were in a dugout with them. That means much more than just getting that meal money for the day. And you're kind of a big deal when you go back to minor league camp to your guys that you're over there with. You know, you got some stories to tell.
Here's Cameron Flynn. Looks at a strike as the Marlins are down to their final out. Yeah, that meal money isn't bad either, though.
Nah, but and also you get to realize how big some of these big leaguers are too. Like you get to see Giancarlo Stanton up close. You get to see, you know, a guy like Jonathan Broxton on the mound, and you're like, oh my goodness.
Hit the other way. A foul ball, no balls and 2 strikes. So the Marlins down to their final strike. This has been fun. Always good to see you, my friend.
Same here, man. It's always a blast. We always have a good time up here. I enjoy watching and calling a game with you.
Had the chance to catch up in fantasy camp. We'll see you in St. Louis this year. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 outs. The next by Broxton to Flynn. A swing and a miss, and the Cardinals hold on. They win 4-1 over the Miami Marlins.
Good game. These 2 teams are trying to get up to get out of here. They want health to be the main option, but also getting things going, hopefully for a successful 2016 campaign. And I look forward to seeing you as well throughout the year.
It's going to be a lot of fun. 4-1 our final. We'll wrap things up in just a moment on Fox Sports Florida and Fox Sports Midwest.